Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is David Palmer, Leo King, and Craig Skidmore here at highvibe.tv for our show, Deep Love Tarot, your weekly love horoscope and reading for the week of April 20th through the 26th of 2020, the week of the new moon in Taurus. Wild risks to get to love. If you never watched this show before or any of our other shows, make sure that you join us on highvibe.tv for all of our awesome exclusive content. When you become a member, my daily video horoscopes, we do weekly horoscopes, my daily tarot, my daily intuitive. We also have awesome special events like the one we're doing this Friday. It's a special live stream. And what's awesome about this live stream event is it's going to be about 3 hours long. And what is next here in 2020? And the reason why I say what's next is because for years, literally years, I've done so many special live stream events to prepare people for this time. And in case you never did watch any, if you click the trailer on highvibe.tv, just go under the Leo King, go under live streams, or go under paid video specials, and you'll see this thumbnail right here. 2020, what's next? You click it, you'll see a button to push. It's like got a film logo, or it's just, we'll say trailer if you're on a computer, and click it, and you can watch a 33-minute one. So if you actually hold up here. So if you actually were to just click this watch button when you go to High Vibe, over here I'll show you. If you've never been to highvibe.tv yet, you're missing out. Missing out. So this is High Vibe right here. Remember that we have apps on iPhone, Android, Apple TV, and you can subscribe right through there. So if you're on your iPhone, you can just go subscribe right there. Bang. Same thing with Android, Apple TV, Roku, Android TV, and Fire TV. But what's cool is if you're on the website, this is how you have to actually, if you want to watch the trailer, you click that watch button, and then right here it's under Leo King, but you can always go, you'll see it under paid video special or live events. You click this video and see, we're going to be live 3 hours and 3 days, 14 hours, 19 minutes away. Click watch trailer right here, and you're going to be able to watch the whole trailer of all the predictions that I've done here. I'll mute it real quick. But I've even got the record dates recorded throughout the whole entire history, November 2017. We're going to show a clip tonight of it halfway through the show of all the stuff that was recorded and proving. This is April 2017. This is actually the first live stream Craigie was behind the computer for. But it took a long time to get this video out. There was so much preparation to help people to really start to navigate to see what was there. And, it's one of those things where, I don't want to even be happy about these predictions coming true, but it's a way for you to know that what I see is next here, because that's all people keep asking. Everybody just keeps asking me, what's next? What's next? So I thought that was the easiest title. But, what a lot of people are trying to say out there in the spiritual community is not really what's next. I'll be real. And if we apply the same logic that we did to predict a plague, to the day in the month, and year, I'm going to apply all the same aspects to show you all what's next and where this whole thing is going. Not only in this year of 2020, but how that is splintering off into the whole entire next decade, which I'm sure you can feel is a new world, and it's totally different. So make sure that you check that out. You can watch that trailer at any time. And we'd love to see you on Friday for that live stream. And if you can't make that live stream, of course, once it's done and it's recorded, and if you happen to be a live stream person that watches live, of course, the recording is always available for you through highvibe.tv, which you watch on the phone or the apps or anything like that. So, boom.
All that goodness.
So what's going on, Craig?
Well, we made it just in time. Happy holidays, everybody. Wanted you to reassure, look in my eyes. I'm not under the influence while I am maneuvering this computer. I do not medicate and operate heavy machinery, okay? All y'all stay safe out there. It's going to be a wild time ahead of us, though, I feel like.
There was an article saying that for 420 today that the cannabis industry actually had a bad day or something. I was like, really?
I could see that. I could see that.
Or if you did watch Deep Astrology, I made a prediction that Monday in the market would be a record in the market, and I predicted in the downward trend, and it wasn't actually, what you would typically think. It was oil went down to negative, I think like negative $35.
Yeah, negative 35.
So, never seen that in our lives before. That was all because of this Sun square Saturn. And this week we're going to talk about it. Now, if you've never watched this show before, it's a pretty simple show. We are going to use the astrology, but we are going to use the tarot. And we are going to do a collective reading for your love week report. That means all signs, like whatever sign you are, just know this is the collective energy for love. Then we're going to pull from the high vibe red cup and pull your individual zodiac sign and do the reading for you. And of course, use all the different cards and the astro dice, which we have here. So we have a lot to go through tonight. We always at 1,000 people that are live do a 1,000, collective reading. And then we do at 2,000 people a sexy time reading.
Sexy time.
So I guess before we just roll, is there anything that you're feeling for love this week, Craig, from your 420 state?
In my non-420 state would be very dismal. In my natural 420 state, I would say that there is a positive outlook in love. I think that even though these are strange times, we are turning a corner of that self-appreciation, which in turn will maneuver us right into the place that we want to be when it comes to love, when it comes to friendship, when it comes to that self-beauty that we have within. So I think we just got to keep focused. I think we got to be precise and just have fun through it all. Laugh a little bit, smile.
Yeah, some people just wrote, one person wrote they were high.
Nice.
And then, but a lot of other people were writing like, it's a rough time for love. Well, I think, yeah, sure, it is. I'll be real. But you know what it is I think what's rough about it is it's really hard to find people who are willing to jump. And what I mean jump is, this is where we have to take what seems like a wild risk. Let's be real. Let's look at the times we're at right now. This is not dating how it used to be anymore. It's not like just like let's go out to dinner tonight to a restaurant and let me go meet you at a hotel lobby and have a drink or have an appetizer, or I'll go meet you at the beach. Or, we have to, this is a whole new ball game. And, it was funny. We did what was it for? I think it was for Full Disclosure this week, which is an exclusive show on High Vibe that Craig and I do on Wednesday nights, where we answer people's questions and also disclose things that we can't disclose in the public social media realm. That's the reason why also, 2020 What's Next is not going to be on YouTube. But there is something to say that there was an article a lot of articles about Dr. Fauci, the head doctor for America, who was talking about how to date during coronavirus and that you have to take a risk, and he gave his advice on how to take a risk. So it's like kind of weird, you don't hear him talk about any other place like about how to take a risk. It's more like, don't take any risks and sit in your house, but and don't talk to anybody. But it was weird when it came up to love. He was like, well, yeah, I mean, you got to still kind of date. It was kind of his vibe, and but you got to assess it right. And then if you want to go deeper intimate, that's your own risk.
Well, I guess that proves that love truly does conquer all.
It is true. You can look it up. It's on Google. Type in Fauci Tinder. And it'll pop right up. He talks about Tinder dates. So I think that, I think it's hard to find people who are, are they willing, or is anybody ready to take that risk? Maybe it's you and maybe the other person isn't, or maybe the other person is and maybe you aren't. I mean, you're going to have to look at that. And this goes into the whole what's next for 2020 is video that I'm going to be doing live streaming on Friday. And I've been saying this one for years about the people that we are in this new boat to the new world with are everything. And if you're in a relationship and you feel like you're not in alignment right now, that boat feels like it's about to, fall off the flat earth, right? And just go off the sea like the old days they thought. And or you're just like missing the course of your life, it might feel like. Also by choosing somebody who might not be in alignment with your path or whatever. And this is getting to extreme times, like just with, I mean, I'm sure you all have done a little bit of the astrology ahead, right? I mean, you want to find out who you want to be with like now. We don't have a lot of time. What's today? The 20th of April?
420.
It's 420. Venus retrogrades on May 13th. North Node comes into Gemini on May 5th. And guess what? Pluto goes retrograde this weekend. The first planet to go retrograde is going to be Pluto. And then all the others fall like dominoes with Venus. It's like Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, all within the same time frame. Just like by the 13th, just right in there, and the 14th, the 15th, it's just like. So I don't know how to get you prepared. Plus with Mars coming into Pisces after it leaves Aquarius, going to square the nodes. It's going to square Venus retrograde. Neptune's going to square Venus retrograde. And I guess we're already starting the collective, so we might as well just start this whole collective thing. When it comes to the collective, it'll pop up magically. It's Sun square Saturn. It has been a long day, a lot of blocks and a lot of challenges. But if you just keep doing the work, it'll happen. Pushing for Craig right now. Poor guy had to deal with me to get that trailer up, and then he did the beautiful artwork on that image for what's next for 2020.
That's a big ass collective.
That's a big ass collective. Well, you know what? It's a big ass collective out there.
That's true.
So anyway, for the collective, new moon in Taurus this week with Uranus, and that's Wednesday. And now this is going to set the precedent of the next whole entire lunar cycle, which is a month cycle. Well, in this month cycle are Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn, I'm forgetting one other, Venus, all going to retrograde. And so the main one is Venus. Remember, we're in Taurus. Venus is the ruler of Taurus. Taurus is with Uranus. This is where, the physical touch, the physical world, your money, this stuff is going to come up a lot. And with the sun squaring Saturn, and actually this new moon will be square Saturn, okay? Yeah, there's blocks. If something's not working out in life, especially love-wise right now, it means that it's not connecting, and you're going to have to disconnect and go connect somewhere else. This is where it's tough, because you have to look at Taurus and Aquarius, this square, we have not seen since 1991. And so this is a time where it's like, you got to upgrade. That's what Taurus and Aquarius is about, upgrading. And you got to upgrade to people on your level that are on the same quality, that also match the same values and the same physical elements. Like I always say, Taurus to me, of course, kind of rules the pheromones. And so this is an upgrading on pheromones. This is also finding who's there. And then there's another part of Taurus of who's really going to own it, right? Because Taurus is about owning it. You know what? I know a lot of people think Taurus can be slow, but Taurus is the only one that will just straight up throw their money on the table and own it, right? I'm going to buy that. Well, think of it when it comes to spirituality, of self-worth. I know what I want to connect with. I'm going to own that. I'm going to step up and own that physical, spiritual, emotional self-worth vibration. And when it comes to love right now, it's if you're in a place where you're wanting to just still be a little weird alien by yourself in a little weird world, okay? Saturn and Aquarius, the block. Well, are you really going to get anything physical, or are you just going to just be living in the spaceship, pushing buttons? Or living with your laptop, or living with your iPhone, or living with your freaking, living this whole life through this. You know what I mean? Or are you going to have something else that's actually real and physical in your life too? I mean, I can try and cuddle as much as I want with my Samsung, although I'll be honest with you, I do like my iPhone better. So that's the whole difference of Taurus too, right? There's that whole element of what's better and what's better. So everybody's got to look at like what's better for my life, what's better for my connection, what's better to where I have to take a risk, because Uranus is there and Saturn in square. That's risk. That's like, okay, I have to completely do something that seems wild, crazy, and different in order to get to a higher place of what I want. That's ascension. That's reminds me of the Stairway to Heaven. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little Led Zeppelin-y. That was a risk, right? Making a 7-minute song in a time when that was not allowed, and they did it. And thank God they did that. So, you know, it's like that song, you wouldn't want to miss one little piece of that song. It's so good. Why are you wanting to miss pieces of your life with your love life? What are you holding back? What are you holding back is the big thing this week. With Venus and Gemini, it's like stir crazy. And it's also looking at the environment and being like, uh-oh. Because I'll be honest, if you look at it, it's shrinking. I know that the world's trying to use this whole, we're opening up. Yeah, right. Right? It's going to be a very small world that's opening up. So are you prepared? Did you really think that this was just going to be this huge world still? And that you have a lot of time? Anyway, there's a lot there this week, and most important, that there's not a lot of like huge major, you know, aspects here left. So like you know, it's running down to the wire to change your environment, which is the world that you see in your physical space around you, and either go with it or without it. That's a big choice of Taurus and Aquarius, with or without it. Love. And there's no wrong choice. But you got to ask yourself if your needs are being met, your stimulation's being met, and if you want to keep blaming the outside, or is it that why put energy into something that outside doesn't want to come in? That just means you need to put your energy somewhere else. You know what I mean? Or if you're somebody who keeps closing off and you want something to open up, you got to look at yourself, because you're probably closed off. Maybe because you have a self-worth issue. Well, maybe they think I'm going to be not good looking enough, or maybe I'm too fat, or I'm too thin, or I'm not tan enough, or whatever. You got to get over that shit, and you got to own it. Let's see what the tarot has to say for this week's collective. First card that we got is 2 of Pentacles in reversed. Oh man, I think we're over this whole juggling of worlds. So we're over juggling relationships, we're over juggling love life. So I think this is good news. But if you're going to still stay on the juggle train, and you're not going to make a choice, and you're not going to make a commitment to maybe you're juggling a couple people. Maybe, you know, you're juggling with or without, right? This is a lot of juggling around. And it also has to do also with the physical aspect of your life. This could be like where you're going to juggle your life. Could a relationship actually take you to a whole different life, a whole different world? And you got to stop the juggling and to be like, well, what world do I want? Do I want to be on the land, or do I want to be on the sea? This card always has to deal with that. So they're very dramatic and very different. Do I want to live on a boat, or do I want to live on, you know, earth life? Well, that's a big question. But if you're still juggling it, you're not going to get anywhere this week. The challenge card that we got is the Black Moon Lilith card, mystery. Look at this. The challenge is people are not willing to go all the way. Lilith goes all the way. Lilith does what she really wants. So there's this kind of like edge and mystery of like the need and the want where she does it. I always say that I'm not going to use that analogy since my Oma did pass away Friday. But, and thank you for everybody that sent me a lot of love about that. But, you know, Lilith is somebody who will do whatever she wants no matter what it is. And for this being the challenge, it's like, are you really holding back your true needs and nature, and almost like thinking it's bad to be that way? It's like judging yourself on your own truth of what you really want. First card or the spiritual advice card that we got here, the outcome is the Three of Swords reversed. This card is to deal with heartbreak, but it's in the reverse position, which means you're already living in heartbreak. So why are you afraid of heartbreak if you're already in heartbreak? This kind of shows me that you're already in heartbreak, whatever the situation is. And I'll be honest, there's a lot of couples that might be watching this show, might be a little bit like, uh-oh. Because this is, whenever I see Venus in Gemini and it comes into its shadow and it gets ready to go retrograde, it's like big breakup time, major, especially during an eclipse time that's coming up during the Venus retrograde. So you're already in heartbreak. You're single, maybe you're already in heartbreak. So what's the fear of like getting and trying something if what, you're gonna be heartbroken? You're already heartbroken. Or are you in denial of your heartbreak? That's already happening and you're still trying to maybe with your mind figure something out. The way that we get through this challenge is the talisman. We got to open the doors. We got to unlock the doors that we really want. And that we have, what doors do we have to unlock? Lilith. She gets what she wants. It's the darker edge. I know, feminine energy. You know, sometimes it could be, you know, that darker shade, but she gets what she wants. Like you open the door by just doing with what you need and with what you want. There is no time with her. There is no certain moment. It just is when you want it, you get it. And the reason why we pulled that Two of Pentacles in reversed is, wow, the Seven of Swords reversed. Your favorite card, Craig? Yeah. It's in reverse. I think that we're telling ourselves our own lie. I think that we are avoiding, or maybe we're too afraid to just bring out like the truth of our situations. So we just keep juggling things because we feel like, well, I don't know. Or, you know, this card has to deal with hiding shit or just being the kind of weirdo or thief or the cheater or the stealer. You know, whenever it's in reverse, though, it's kind of saying, it's like, why are you juggling so much? It's like, I feel like this would be the collective is juggling things that they're afraid to just reveal, or they're just afraid to make some like wrong choice. And they're like, you know, trying to maybe keep a lot of things on juggle. It's like, you can't keep things on juggle. You have to make solid choices. And the reason why we picked that Three of Swords in reversed is, wow, the Tower card reversed. I felt this about a lot of couples. Like the fear of ending something completely and watching it finally come to its end, and with the Three of Swords. And then for singles, this is like, aren't you ready for this heartbreak to end of the same tragic story that it just is like you feel alone? Open the doors, use that Black Moon Lilith. Don't be afraid to go for it and see what's there. Heartbreak is more heartbreak when you don't go for it. We got a moon in Scorpio on the 10th. We emotionally need to decide on what we really want with our sexual energy, with our passion, with our edge, with our needs, with our deep wants. And we got to set that decision and just transform and do it.
Yeah, I'm picking up on some like self-worth issues, and whether that's like you're limiting yourself because you don't think that you're in the right situation, you don't think that you're worthy of it. And really that can bring down any sort of situation when true, you have that Lilith, you have that key, you just need to unlock it. You need to unlock that potential and that drive that's within you and kind of express yourself into this situation. Because you might find that that individual that you're with or that you're seeking out is going to have those same possible issues or that have worked through them. And they're going to be able to acknowledge that from you and they can help you grow. But you got to let individuals in. You got to appreciate yourself first and foremost. And then you got to build on that every single day. Every damn day.
Well, and then there's that whole thing too of like, okay, there's that beautiful side that I think you brought. And then there's that other side of it where it's like, why hold on to something that you know you're just totally, it's not working.
Right.
It's like you have that self-worth issue of like, if I let this go, well then what's out there in that mystery horizon? It's like, oh, just follow your deep needs and it will get what it wants. But it can't get what it wants if you're holding on to, you know, a storage facility that's full of shit. Like nothing can change out, you know? So there's a very clear indication here, especially with this juggling and especially with that Seven of Swords reversed. I almost feel like people are like, afraid to tell other people that they're juggling. And I would say that's a lot in couples, or the people who are dating are just like afraid to say what they're juggling in their life. And then there's a Tower and a Three of Swords reversed here. I mean, both. I mean, it's just like this, you're already in shit showville and trying to deny it. The more I think you accept you're in shit showville and change that, the better. Like, it can't get any worse than this. I think it can only get worse if you continue to keep doing the same shit. Oh, shit. We got Caps first. Oh, the Cappies. Le Capricorns. Le Capricorn. What does the chat have to say while we're loading up those Capricorns?
Just that, a bunch of people are in the shit showville as well.
Somebody's like, I ain't chasing nobody's son. If they got no balls, I'm going fishing. Damn. All right, Capricorn. Well, this is the new moon in Taurus. This is your love house. So if anybody was to go first, it would be you. But with Uranus there, it's got to be a wild shift. And with Saturn in your second house, Mars in your second house, the big square here, I think you have to really start to pay attention, Capricorn, to, is there better? Are you ready to make a big adjustment to your self-worth? Maybe I would say the Capricorns are dealing with the self-worth thing a lot more than a lot of people right now, especially about happiness and love, physical attributes. Or if you're in a relationship, is this really making sense? Or are you denying yourself completely of what you really want in your life? There's a lot of denial of the true edge. I was born a Leo with a moon in Taurus and a Leo rising. So fifth, second house is my fucking banquet. I don't have a little fucking meal going on there. I have a banquet. And I can tell you that my whole life is, I know exactly what I want, and I won't accept anything that I don't want in my life. It's worked out pretty fucking good for me. So this is your big question right now in your life. And with Venus, which is in the sixth house, it's definitely showing a reality, a work life, a schedule that is really weird. And I know work is important to you, but you've got to make sure that environment's right with your happiness. Your card that you got this week is the 10 of Pentacles upright. So this is definitely looking at your home life. This is actually looking at, especially with Chiron in Aries here and a dark moon in Aries, start this week off. But is the home life really at this beautiful position to hold up all the things you want? Now, of course, I know the times we're in. So it's what do you mean? This is what I got. That's all I got. I think that people have to be a lot more open to the world and realize that there is still a world that has doors to open. And I think that for you have to start to realize, is this the foundation that is truly the best one for you, that's going to build the great things you want in your life? Who comes into this castle? Who's part of this castle? Is this the castle that works? That's a big question for you right now. You did pull as your challenge the Part of Fortune card. So I would say that you're not feeling too hot right now, feeling like you have any good luck coming your way if you're single or your relationship feels like it's out of luck. Well, you got to look at luck comes from if you have a good foundation to things and you've been, in the right place at the right time and you've built something, right? People say you're lucky because of this in life, right? Or you're lucky because of that. It's no, you're lucky because you set everything up to where it just starts to all work. And I think that for you with your love life right now, it's is this all on a solid basis? You want all this increase, but you're not willing to deal with the plumbing. There's a lot of plumbing issues going on, Cap. Your overall card is the Ace of Wands in reverse. So, overall, why can't you move forward into your ultimate happiness here? Are you still afraid to step fully into the power of the rise of the new journey, the rise of the new happiness, the reset? There's a lot of fear of resetting the computer here, or the better yet, pulling the plug to happiness. Or at least having a major reset with that happiness, right? And like resetting the programs and making, but how many times have you reset the programs? Your challenge card to get through it, spiritual advice-wise, is the grounded card, the anchor, which is very Capricorn, the anchor. Where you ground is the fortune you have. Where you anchor is the fortune you have. That's why I was picking that up with that 10 of Pentacles, because some people may be like, well, 10 of Pentacles is such a great card. Maybe it means that you have such a great life and a great thing. Well, I don't know. I got a challenge card here with a part of fortune. Not that great of a card to have in the challenge position. It's like the good luck card. And you got the Empress as reversal to this castle. So an Empress that's in reversed with a castle here, not too hot. That means that you're not even feeling like your self-worth and your greatness is there in your foundation, your home life, or your family life that actually is building of something great. That's something, or you're all by yourself and you're like going home alone all the time and you're like, gosh, it would be nice that there was something or somebody around here. And you pulled the 5 of Wands in reversed. So it's like so afraid of confrontation to start something new. So afraid to even bring up the confrontation, to bring up any of the stuff that's going on. You pulled the 3rd house with the South Node in Cancer. Oh man, you got to focus a lot more now on opening up to making decisions in your life. Like, you know, it's like this South Node 3rd house is just like the same environment, the same emotional stuff that isn't changing. You got to explore a totally different new place and take action and take initiative by making choices that are going to get you what you want by opening those doors, Capricorn. Let's go. I know you can do it.
Yeah, you might be feeling a little overwhelmed right now. Kind of like you're sinking. The water's up over your head. You know, your emotions. You can't figure out how to express yourself in a healthy manner. You know, and that's when you need to kind of take a step back. And you do need to ground yourself. You know, clear your head a bit so you can kind of process everything that's going on. You know, it might be a situation that you feel like you got yourself into and that you don't know how to get out. Just communicate all those feelings and start working through and process it every day. That's all you can do.
Sometimes that's all, yeah. Like, I think that you say it best. Like,
You gotta work your way through it. You know, you got yourself into a situation, you can get yourself out. You know, you can find that love again.
yeah, it doesn't matter if you're single or in a relationship. If the relationship one's shitty, like, how many have you even tried to work it out? Because some Capricorns, based off that reading, might not have even tried. And then 2, if they've tried, they just keep trying the same. Like, it's like a computer. Like, it keeps not working and I keep resetting it. Like, what do I do? It's like, maybe you need a damn new computer. You know what I mean? Like, and then if you're single, it's like, well, I'm so sick of being alone. It's like, well, how many opportunities came when you just denied it? Taurus. Happy birthday, Taurus, by the way. Woo!
Birthday to you.
It's the bull's birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
As they graze the grass, looking for cake. What would they feed Taurus for their birthdays?
Hopefully it's something that makes them plop out some nice patties afterwards and you get a nice little moist rainy day and all is good.
I was going to say non-shredded, but whole $100 bill salad. Not shredded. You know, just a bowl full of $100 bills. You know, it's like their salad. Like, here you go. And Taurus would be like, thank you. I'm freaking happy. Well, there's a big question, Taurus, now that, you know, this is a new moon in your sign. So those that are born here on this 23rd, 24th, 22nd, you're having a big new moon on your birthday here with Uranus. We're going to see the sun in Uranus this week. So this is a week where it's like, are you ready to really make a risky, wild choice of your identity in your life? To be able to get the love life you want? It's like a little bit of breaking out of a cage. That's what Uranus is about. And to get the more quality and to get the better life. Plus with this square to Saturn, which happens to be in your 10th house, it's about being a big boy or a big girl now and making those choices that are going to open up the radical doors to allow you to get more of what you want. Now, this Aries transit was weird the last 30 days. But it also, I think, showed you that you're just kind of locked away in your own little world. And I think that this is about you stop locking yourself away and start taking some risks that are wild in yourself and showing yourself. And, you know, Uranus is definitely a connector, and it also is a disconnector. And so this is where you disconnected with your true self or you connected with yourself. This isn't about outside people. This is about how you show up with your electricity or not. By your disconnection, that's extreme right now. And taking things maybe too serious when, you know, one thing is, I think that Aquarius is there for Tauruses is because the 10th house for you, which rules career and decisions and grown-up energy, is because Tauruses get too stuck in the same exact way of life, that sometimes the big decision in his life is to do something radically different to make things better, because that's the only way that you'll advance. So this is hard for Tauruses, because even on, you know, it's your birthday time, it's realizing that to get better, you have to get out of the situations that are the same situations that you're in, because the way you live, just you get too comfortable. You get way too comfortable, especially with this North Node in your third house. Like, it's asking that comfort means a stimulating in an environment instead of that South Node in Capricorn that's ending within this lunar cycle of, you know, you just keep believing that you'll get what you want by sitting in the same place. There's a weird part about that. Let's see what you got for well, especially with Venus in your second house. Are you ready for better, or are you actually afraid of that? A better love life, a better happiness? You pulled the Fool card up, right? So you might be feeling like, you know, this card is actually a great card. It's the first card of the whole journey of our life through tarot. But, you know, with the Fool card, it is reminding you to learn to have fun and to just be in life, instead of like, maybe you're the fool for not being in life. Like, you're trying to understand life fully before you do anything, which is foolish, because the only way we understand life is when we go through it. Like, I don't know if this hat's going to work for me on Deep Love Tarot all the time if I have to keep adjusting it, because if I adjust it a little bit too tight, then it hurts my head. If it's too loose, then it flies over the place. So I'd be a fool if I just kept looking at the hat and not showing up with the hat on the show. And that's what I love about the Fool card. It's like, it can be the most greatest journey ever by just being on the journey of life. It's a fool to try and figure out the journey before being on the journey. And, you know, I always like to look at sometimes the first card too, as well as like the kind of partnership that you're looking at. Well, you're looking for somebody who knows how to just live in life and not freak out about it. Like, the Fool card, it looks like they're going to go off a cliff, but are they really going off the cliff? Are you the one who's foolish to think they're going off a cliff when you're not living that life? Like, you know, they're enjoying life. They're with the dog. They're playing music. They're dancing. And in other, you know, decks, you know, it's having a really good time. Are you not having a good time? Wow. Your challenge is the 12th house of escape, that you're escaping into a nothingness, that you escape stepping into this reality too much. And also, the 12th house is a house of more than escape. It's a house of staying in the same patterns. So you have a big challenge here, and especially also with your spirituality, that's unknown. And also feeling like, you know, it's the house of secret enemies, right? So it's like you have energies around you that are kind of holding you back, you know, that are just like, hey, like subliminally making you think it, but it's yourself. You're a Taurus. You drop the balls literally on the life that you want. Wow, you got the Ace of Swords in reversal here. So your outlook is, your mind is not ready to start in a new place. And this outlook is saying that, you know, these old thought patterns and these old fears and these old anxieties and these old environments. And, you know, I love the Ace of Swords because it's jamming the energy of new upwards with the mind into a fresh new place, into a fresh new start. But this reversal overall is saying, you're not going anywhere because you're not really jamming it hard enough. You're not jamming enough, you know, to see what's new there. You're still kind of like trying to jam from an old position. There's a lot, especially with that 12th house. Wow, you got the divine feminine to get you through this whole 12th house thing. It's saying that, you know what, especially if you're a female out there, you know, you got to step into your feminine energy more. You got to, you know, I always say it's like in the 1700s, you know, the women used to fan themselves and dress in the big dresses, and they let a man know that they wanted him. You know, it was like you would go to the party and you'd start fanning because you would think that the guy was hot, right? That's where hot comes from, and fanning. And, you know, there's other girls around that are trying the same thing. And that's where the whole thing of catty started to come from. Like that chick's being catty. She got a nicer dress. She got a better fan. And she just knows how to googly eye and get the, you know, the guys to come over and sit and talk and start asking about their families and what family line are they from and all that stuff. There's that whole divine feminine here of like, are you escaping your feminine energy? Maybe if you're a male Taurus, it's like maybe you're not stepping into even, like you're just erasing the whole qualities of love because you're not living in love. Your love, maybe look at your reality, the Fool card's here. Your reality is not full of love, so why don't you bring love into it? The reason why you got that Fool card in reverse is you got the Page of Cups in reversed. So it's like you're expecting other people to just spill their emotions at you, but I'm sorry, it's about you spilling your emotions out. But also maybe there's an incorrect way that you've been doing that. Maybe there's been a misrepresentation about how you communicate emotionally. Maybe you've been blocked that off with that. Maybe you have some subconscious issues and patterns. There's a lot of 12th house stuff here. A lot of weird stuff with that divine feminine trying to get you through. Like maybe it's been coming across too masculine. Maybe you got to this is a lot about more of the feminine. But also that Fool of you, you're foolish because you're not really communicating the feelings correctly. You got to like speak up more. And you got that Ace of Swords in reverse because you got the 10 of Wands in reversed. So you've been carrying way too much weight that you don't need to carry anymore. Other people's weight, other people's happiness, other people's shit. You really think that you're going to get the reality you want and the exciting new, you know, world that you want and stimulating if you're just holding a bunch of other people's stuff and you're just like the slave? Tauruses become slaves, easy. Who do you think pulls all the heavy stuff? The bulls. Oh, get all those bulls together and have them pull this tractor and this trailer out, you know? Is that you right now? If you're in a partnership, are you the one pulling everything right now and you're not able to get into that love energy? You're not communicating correctly? Or are you around energies in a world that's not conducive to even have love because you're choosing that world subliminally and you're pulling and you're holding a bunch of other people's weight? You pulled the second house Jupiter with Pisces. So yeah, this is about you starting to realize that you can have the dreams of your life, literally. But you have to be willing to explore those dreams. You have to be willing to offer those dreams. And you have to be able to show those dreams. And you have to understand what those dreams are. Jupiter is an understanding, but Jupiter has a vision. And Jupiter in Pisces is at its home sign. It has a vision. It's at its domicile position. It's dominant here. So it's like you have to know the vision, show the vision, and want the vision to make the vision show up. But if you don't know, show, and want, and you're still in question about that, or you're still searching for that, well, I'm just going to be honest for you. You're just going to continue to search. And if you're not willing to journey for that search, if you don't know what it is, well, how is this all going to happen? It's just like going to be you journeying through the same patterns of what you already have.
I think those Taurus need to get back to basic to a certain extent. They need to utilize that Fool card and kind of get back to the fundamentals and the foundation of who they actually are and like where that happiness comes from. Mm-hmm. The way they can express themselves almost like with childlike wonder. You know, what is it that's actually going to make you happy on this journey? What's going to help you progress forward in the healthiest manner? That's what we need to get back to. That's what we need to focus on. I've seen some people commenting on these pictures behind me. These are some of the original, actually, that we did with Kim here on There's an Art to Life. So if you're looking for some things to do while you're at home, you can go get yourself some paints from the paint store and hop onto High Vibe. It's a free series. It's called There's an Art to Life, and they're on there along with a bunch of others. So that's that.
Boom. It's 1,000 collective reading time. I saw 1.2 thousand people in there.
You want to show some of the clip or?
Yeah. So right now we're going to show you a clip and then we're going to do the collective reading of what Friday's live video is going to be, which is going to be 2020 What's Next. What I recommend for everybody to do when it comes to preparation for 2020 and this next decade is, one, It's about being secure with why you're here. And I know that that's a very hard question for people, and a lot of people can debate that a lot. And I think that another part of this is to learn to not be afraid of projections of fear, when especially it comes out of a place that feels inside like, is that really happening? Because if we look at life, sure, there are catastrophes. There are things that show up in life that are anomalies that make us go, whoa. You know, I always remember the tsunami of 2011 in Fukushima. Or I live in LA, so I've been through the Northridge earthquake and just the most recent earthquakes in 2019. But I can tell you that there's something that feels like, okay, those patterns seem to happen in life. But there's something about the fear that's going to be projected here in the 2020s of, especially in 2020 of, is this real, or is there some backdoor story to this? Or is this programmed in a certain way? Or is this pre-planned from a human point of view and not so much of kind of a, whether you want to call that the natural law or nature itself or God? And another part of this is going to be beliefs. The beliefs are going to become rampant. The amount of frequency from planetary aspects and consolidation, meaning conjunction point, but using kind of more of an easier term to understand of like potency if they're all in the same place in the sky in an area that goes back to 1283 and 4, which was what brought on plagues. Every time Pluto and Saturn get together in Capricorn, they bring on a plague right after. Right after the 1284 one, we started to get the plagues of the Dark Ages in the 1300s. Then in the 1517, 1518, right in there. 1500s and 1600s, plague. So, not to scare people, but there is a plague coming, but I think it's a new plague. And the people that followed their destinies survived. The people that sat back and just wanted to live life and not do anything or follow what was their inner guidance towards achieving something of life died.
The ones who didn't follow.
Yeah. There's something about also the masters of this reality that use this transit to clean up what is not useful in the system anymore. That's cryptic, but it's factual astrological data and truth that scares the shit out of me as an astrologer.
Why?
Because like any system, and this is why I think people feel the fear of, like, let's say the Amazon that was on fire today. This is way bigger, that the universe is about to come in and be like, are you useful? Did you come? Because there's a lot of energy that wants to come in here and do great things. So there's a cryptic clean out. Yes, I'm here to tell you this is a great new beginning, but with extreme discernment. And to not feel bad, to be like, no, that is not in my life anymore, or that is not going to be in my life anymore. Because before you get on this ship, you do not want to take anything with you that could create a plague into your life. And the reason why I say plague is every Pluto, Saturn, and Capricorn is what triggers the Black Plague, the re-emergence of the plague in the late 1500s after the Saturn-Pluto finished. Bam! Reverb. Still. Did something change around here? It's when I get to the deep shit that fucking this thing has been going crazy. Still around? Well, we're gonna go to the charts. I'm gonna fix the sound real quick. I have no explanations except that over the last 2 weeks, these messages that have been going out somehow do not want to get out there to people. There's something trying to distort these things. Some people might think I'm schizophrenic, but It's been crazy because the stuff that I'm bringing up to you all is literally why I call this deep astrology. Like, this is not your freaking cookie cutter shit. I'm sorry. Like, nobody wants to talk about plagues. Nobody does. Nobody does. Of course not. Not in today's society. Everybody's so sensitive. Nobody wants to look at truth anymore. Everybody wants to be blindsided and just like let it all happen. I want to say this before we go into these charts. I know it's hard to hear because it's so extreme, but it is what is, in my opinion, because I am an astrologer and I do this every day, and I would hope that you guys would trust me, because most of you guys are in this room because you watch my fucking videos, that I've done this so much that I cannot be any more real than this in my life. I really cannot. That I want to end this and go into questions now, because I'm going to end with saying, like, if you cannot master do it or don't do it and win or lose, you will not pass the test. I believe astrology and spirituality are tests. And I know we all want to hear the opposite, which is where the North Node in Cancer is going to be, and we're aiming for everyone to take care of each other and all these things, but no. Remember, the physical reality always is shown by the South Node, and what the reality we're aiming for is the North. It's even triply more strong because of the fact that the North Node is in Cancer in 2019 into 2020. That proves my point. That we will always be aiming for being taken care of, or having someone take care of us, or having a break when we need it. No breaks. Slave labor camps, which is ironic that when all the labor camps started with Hitler was with Uranus and Taurus. So that's a whole nother thing. Factories, things that deal with people working, is going to become extreme in the next 5 years in building things. But also, if you guys ever seen an iPhone factory in China, how they actually dorm them and all that stuff, that's going to be coming up more than ever. And with people not having jobs and people who aren't going to be at the top of the food chain with reaching for the top using technology and stuff, guess where the only places left for them to go are going to be? In corporation prison camps. I guarantee you that's what's going to come up in the next 5 years. Corporation prison camps. You get your food, you get your money, and you're making us billions. Thank you. And when I see you all next week, I mean, we're going into eclipse time. It's going to be where, you know, to be honest with you, I'm waiting for Spirit to tell me how to deal with how to do the horoscopes for people in general and for the collective, because there's going to be a split in the collective. That's how serious this is. I've never in my life had to channel a horoscope where I feel a split in the collective. Of people who really were awake, really chose, made the right moments, and we're all going into that eclipse time. And that's why I said it's the most intense from December 25th through January 12th. But you do not want to be making choices within there, because you're trying to jump into eggs that are incubated, that are going through the portal. The whole power of change, and how fast and rapid did the world grow. Pluto is the transformation artist. Pluto is the death bringer, but the life regenerator. And to actually see that energy, and to pause on that for a second, that is the vision of life and death. It is not pretty, but it also is so pretty at the same time. I would show you pictures of graveyards and, Halloween stuff, but at the end of the day, I think that those are just old cartoons and pictures in our head, but this is the actual literal version of it. But with Pluto behind Saturn, Saturn is the ruler of time. That's why on your Saturn return, every 28 and a half years old to 30 years old is when you become an adult. No, it's not 18. We all know at 18 we're not an adult. Like, we actually do the stupidest stuff from 18 to 28. You know what I mean? Like, we think we're adults, and I think that's part of the problem. I think if they actually went to the actual spiritual lesson of when you become an adult is when Saturn actually does its full rotation, because Saturn has the ring. Saturn is the last planet you see with your eyes. And it's interesting that Saturn has a hex on it. You've all been hexed in time. You've all been hexed in a reality that is controlled by time. And time is fate, and that means that the clock's been ticking, and the clock always knows where it's going to strike. It's not aimlessly going into some, where's the clock going today? No, you know exactly where you're going to be based upon, I got to be at my mom's house at 2 p.m. today, or I'm fucked. It's her fucking 50th birthday, and if I don't show up by 1:45 and da-da-da-da-da-da, there you are, connecting your place to a time. I don't think that it's weird that there's a hex literally on the top of Saturn. And even if you go back into understanding where the name Satan comes from, it comes from Saturn. Or you get Saturday is from Saturn Day. Because that's actually in, you celebrate the Sabbath on Saturday originally before Christianity. But of course, when Christianity was built, they wanted to go against another religion, so they created Sunday to worship the sun, which is actually the sun's day of the sun itself, like the sun. And that's the trigger of the spiritual community, actually, to be honest with you, is that, again, these moral codes. It has to be this way, it has to look this way, da-da-da. That's the sheep. That is moving into the dark's way of controlling everybody, because the secret that I'm about to give you is the dark is secretly controlling the light worker community right now by creating the same religion that it went against. All in new forms, though. Because with Pluto being the secret, Saturn being hexing you, and with Jupiter dealing with beliefs now, the spiritual community's belief systems will actually hex you into not being your true authentic self and trying to be something that you're not, that doesn't feel comfortable. If you don't want fluoride, then that's fine. If you do want it, then that's fine. The spiritual community, we're all on a boat. If you want to fart twice a day, fucking fart twice a day. If you don't want to take a shit because you're too afraid until you're blue in the face, do that. There should be no hesitation against anybody in how they're going to be, what they're ingesting in their bodies, what they are. Because we are all going on a quest and we don't know what it's going to be like. For the pilgrims, it was 66 days. I can tell you it's going to be a lot longer than that. And the more we as a community right now continue to do that shit, guess what's going to happen? We're all not going to like each other. And spirituality is going to turn into a religion, and it's going to have a leader. And then that leader is going to create rules. And then that's all going to come back down the same thing. And next thing you know, we're going to have Pope fucking green fucking tea and green smoothie fucking Pope. It's an interesting aspect of what's happening with the trade deals with China. The Beijing summit just happened, right? And Japan and China. And Trump's in renegotiation with all that. This is a world paradigm that's about to shift majorly. This is all about commodities. This is all about oil. This is all about major trade, about money.
Do we have to wait until 2026 to figure out when that's going to
No, I think that we have a lot of great things actually in 2020 coming more towards the end, but the beginning is going to be kind of the peak of revealing what the issues are in order to go fix.
Yeah.
But I think that it's not so much of like people have to go like worry, like I need to go fix it and I'm not doing it today and there's a problem. Right. It's like, this will all divinely happen. You just have to know where you're at and you have to go with the flow and you have to go in the divine timing. Divine timing is everything in life. So part of I think the one thing about all frequency is it is emitting the actual reality itself.
Emitting the actual reality?
Right? So this whole reality is frequency.
Yes.
So that means that, this reality is controlled from another source that is playing the movie of life.
Yep.
And air is intellect, and Aquarius is putting things together and starting to see outside of illusions by actually looking at factual data and actually looking at, a way to find connection in life and to find solutions to things. But Capricorn is much more rigid. It's much more already defined, and this is what it's going to be, and this is how it only works. Where there's something about that, this idea of this is the only way it should work is not the only way. And I think that it's important for people to start to know that when we come into this, that the preparation is to not fall into the fears of things that it has to be this way. Anything that starts to show up in a belief system that if you don't do this, if you do not believe in this, if you do not look in this direction, there's something about that there is an illusion to that. There is an illusion to it being this way. And this brings up religions very intensely. Right? So Mars has 2 refuel stations, Aries and Scorpio. And it transforms here, and it gets prepared for battle here, the adventure in Sag, and then it has to go through Capricorn where it gets dignified and do its greatest, biggest work. It's top of the chart, right? That's how it works. That's how astrology works. That's how Mars works. So Mars is a little pissed because it's like, fuck, this is a battle up ahead. This ain't no small little thing. Especially as Jupiter's going to be closer to Saturn and Pluto when Mars comes in. I mean, Mars and Jupiter with Saturn and Pluto, you're going to need to watch the event that's coming up on New Year's Eve.
Go ahead.
Well, the astrology, for a lot of people always wonder and ask me, like, what's going on? Are we going to have a full collapse again astrologically? What's the deal? The truth is by 2024, Pluto will finally leave Capricorn. Capricorn is the sign that represents our structural system of government and financial systems and so forth. They will keep it going as long as they can, till the very end. And people think that some crazy thing's going to happen, or the Iraqi dinar is going to save the day, or all these things. I will give you guys my astrological truth. We've got another, it's 2017. I mean, it's like another 7 years. It's not going to go bad. Before, it's going to get a little weird. It's going to get a little weird in 2020 because we're going to have the triple conjunction with Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto. Okay, that's in 19 and 20. There'll be some sort of other big repair. Okay, but this thing is not just going away. So, don't, But for the next 7 to 8 years, it's going to be sink or swim. And an example would be, taking a risk. I mean, I wish I could give you more examples of risk, but risk is leaving security. Think about your grandparents in the Depression. Pluto was in the opposite sign of Cancer. All they cared about was staying alive. People now, their concern is what job they have. And, oh my God, I can't have that job. What would people think about me if I had that job?
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're living the opposite of what our grandparents went through. And Pluto, have you guys ever seen Pluto's orbit? Remember as kids, remember it goes really close to the sun, then it goes way the fuck out there. And then it comes back close to the sun. So we went through the little loop of where it was from the sun from the 1930s to now. Okay. Pluto just went loop, and now it's on its way, going to go way out far away for a long time. So that means that we went through the fastest loop of Pluto where it could go from half the zodiac in literally less than 100 years, even though it takes 250 years to go around the sun. So the fact that this has happened dealing with Cancer, and for the fact that this is dealing with Capricorn, which will security and the foundation of your financial business, what you're achieving is right now you have to take the biggest risks of your life. If you're trying to hold on with your crabby, emotional, oh, I don't want to lose security and safety, and I have a kid to feed. You're going to be like, do you guys remember the play, I Got to Pick a Pocket or Two, Oliver?
Yeah.
You're going to be the mom or dad that's like sitting in Oliver's orphanage trying to pick some pockets to make some, pick a pocket or two to make some money. Like, you got to take risk. Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter are coming in 2018. And in 2018 and 2019, but especially Saturn comes into Capricorn in 2018. I hate to be honest with you all. If you guys don't want to take a risk in your life coming up, this is the last 8 months to where you have the freedom to kind of be flexible. the concrete's going to hit. And if you're not willing to take a risk, the universe is, it's going to be sink or swim, and it's coming. And it's just a harsh reality. That's why Capricorn's the harshest sign. That's why Capricorns always get the bad rap. Well, guess where all the planets are coming?
We still love
Capricorn.
Oh, I can figure all this out. Oh, but Jupiter is in its home sign of Sag, and so is Neptune. Oh, so I'm coming into the most mind-battling, confusing battle to figure out of all time. And Saturn stopped, so he's saying not to let the ships roll yet because we want to make sure that before we take these ships from September 18th and when Pluto comes direct on October 3rd, in Capricorn, that the destiny, that the karmas have all been cleared. So all the energy that you're going through right now, believe it or not, is your biggest quest of, is this project, is this reality the best one that I'm going on, the biggest, craziest quest of the 2020s I will ever go in my life? Because if you buy into the fear. So, that's just the trailer from what was the past. The video that's coming up on Friday is a whole new video about what's next, because there's a lot of people who just found my channel, and more new people keep finding it. And to be honest, even here at High Vibe, I don't even know how many hours it is, because there's about 2,000 videos on just YouTube, and then we've done over 10,000 plus on the apps over the years. So I know that there's like hours of more clips of me saying all this kind of stuff, but I'll be honest, I didn't even have the time, and all of us here didn't have the time to go through all the clips. So like, I just wanted to prove, and you can watch the rest of it on highvibe.tv at the website I showed you, and just click on this image under the live stream events or the paid video section, watch the trailer. And if you want to join and be part of it, like, it's got the countdown, and you can watch it on your iPhone, you can watch it on the apps, you can watch it on the website, and then you get the recording afterwards, where I'm going to do a full presentation about what's next. I'm not going to look backwards anymore. I'm going to look forward. I already proved to you all I knew a plague was coming, and I said it was a new plague. That I knew the financial system would do the biggest patch job of its life, which we just saw. That there would be a lot of things that didn't feel like it was natural, like an earthquake in Fukushima that felt natural. You'd feel nature doing something weird, right? But this doesn't feel like it's from nature. So I can't make that up. As an astrologer, a lot of astrologers out there don't have the balls to just put out the predictions. I'm going to be honest with you. And on camera for that many years, and just keep warning you all. And somebody was very nice and wrote to me in the chat comment that she was watching with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend thought I was crazy. That video where I'm trying to get out the information about plagues and how they happen and that they're coming, and then the audio starts distorting. And it happened 2 weeks in a row. I remember I was on Deep Astrology screaming at people like, "Are you ready for the plague to come?" And people were looking at me like I was fucking nuts. And I'm like, why is everybody in denial? Nobody wants to talk about plagues, and that's what's coming? Okay. And it's sad. Somebody just wrote sad. Yeah, it's sad. So I'm giving everybody the opportunity, because I can't live stream this thing on YT with what I'm about to tell everybody, because if people were to really... As you can see from Rising in the Darkness, some of those clips from 2017 about the camps and all that stuff, like, I'm telling you, I want to get this video about what's next is your ticket to avoiding another smack in the face that happened at the beginning of this year. Instead of just being like blinded by it and knowing when the stuff comes, where to do and where to go. I mean, I'll let you all know. This weekend, Craig and I are going to another state and looking at another place to move High Vibe right now. So, like, there's a mission that a journey that we're all going on. That's what you can watch the video if you buy it on High Vibe about 2020, which is called The Era of Providence. That we all have to make the hardest sacrifice of our whole life to take the ship to wherever it is that we got to go. But it's the right place. Unfortunately, we don't know yet, but from what it looks like and from what it feels like, we're not. So anyway, let's get back to the love. I just wanted to show you all that.
And that's going to be at 2 p.m. this
Friday. 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific.
The 24th.
On the 24th, Friday.
Be there or be square.
So
yeah, it'll be live, so you'll be able to watch everything right on the homepage of the High Vibe. And just like with all the lives, you can watch it on the apps too. So
yeah, you have to buy on the website
on
for a
the
live
website.
because Apple doesn't let you buy on the app. You can subscribe through the apps, but you can't buy a paid video like a live stream. So you have to go to highvibe.tv, purchase it, and then just, if you have the app, then just log in. It'll be in your library section.
You don't need to be a subscriber to purchase or anything like that. You'll just go on and make your little account, and once you purchase it, you'll be able to access that at any time on the platform across anything. So super simple, very easy. Come hang with us.
So we're at the 1K collective reading.
Oh, yes, we are.
Now, and I know, yeah, that video, I mean, it's, oh man, you know, imagine what my family thinks about me, you know, like, what's he doing over there? You know, I didn't even put any of the clips from Major Deception. I didn't have time to go through that 5.5 hour video, which is free on YouTube. So if you know 1K Collective, we have 1,000 people that are watching live. So I want everybody to pick a person that they are wanting to find their love info about and envision that one person. You remember, you must be talking to this person. And I had a stalker this weekend show up here. And no, I'm sorry. Even if I've done a reading for you, it's like, I'm not talking to you any more than that. I'm not connecting with you in the ethers, nothing like that. So that's where it's like, when I say talking to people, like, no, you're talking to them like about love. Like, yeah, I'm interested in you. So pick somebody that you actually have a chance with that actually is in reality, instead of this whole, I believe this is my twin, but I've never really talked to them. You can't, this is not going to work for that. So if it's a relationship, if it's an ex, or if it's somebody that you're dating right now, or somebody that you're starting to talk to and it's starting to go in a really unique direction, focus on that person right now, and we're going to pick the reading and see how it looks. You got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You got that person in your head? Because you can't use it on anybody else. Can't go, oh, it's more like this person. No. We got the 9 of Swords in reversed. So I think that this card is definitely going to bring up a lot of like subconscious fears that are actually going to be removed. Maybe you're afraid to act a certain way. Maybe you're afraid to, maybe speak your truth about it to somebody, or just like act normal. And really, maybe through that, you're going to be like, you know what? Maybe I can get over that. So sometimes, I always say nerves are a good thing in real love, right? Like there's nothing more real than being nervous on going on your first date, or nervous about speaking your truth of your feelings to somebody. And this reversal is definitely, whatever the fear is not as strong as you think it is. It's not a nightmare situation that you might be. It might actually, not be as bad as you think. So this is definitely a situation where there are nerves around it, or there's unsureties, but, at the same time, it won't be as scary as you think it is. If you have to like exit a situation, or if you're entering a new situation, then there's fears that are natural and they're not as terrifying as you think they are. The challenge that we got here is the Chiron card. So, it's almost like there's a worry. There's a worry about how, whether it's a relationship you're thinking about that you're in, or whether it's somebody new, that the vulnerabilities or the weird parts of yourself, are gonna be affected. So maybe you're afraid of hurting somebody, or you're afraid of being hurt from it, or you're afraid that you'll be too weird, and that this is a very sensitive time in your life. And so you want to be able to like be truly the human and vulnerability that you are. Well, that's just a challenge of you choosing not to be that way. That's your own challenge. And the outcome card here is the Six of Wands, which is the victory card. So there's a lot of victory with this person, that this is who you're thinking about here. But there's a little bit of bumpiness, which is not that bad. But it's also victory. If you're thinking about leaving this person, there's victory here. If you're thinking about trying something with this person, there's definitely victory here. But, you know, there's some bumpy patches that aren't as bad as you think. And I think that you have to pay attention to that. We did get the protection card over that Chiron. So there is something to say that we're in a much more protective state when we are in our vulnerable self, when we are true, even though it might be a loss, especially if you're leaving somebody. You might be protecting yourself from actually getting truly hurt and not being able to heal. Maybe you'll actually heal. And that's the protective element, is to heal yourself from something that has been a nightmare and you're ready for the nightmare to end, or you're entering into something and it's a little bit of a nightmare of how you're going to change your life and how it's going to be. And maybe won't be that bad, you know, but I think that this protection card of the spiritual advice is, you know, maybe it's more protective to actually go through something and see the vulnerabilities than it is by protecting yourself and not, because then what are you protecting? Like nothing, and you're almost restricting yourself from it. We did get, wow, I love this card. We got the Queen of Cups upright. So there's a lot of nurturing and emotion to get through this anxiety. If you're leaving somebody, you'll feel much more secure emotionally. If you're wanting to enter into this situation with this person, there's definitely a lot of nurturing that could help anxieties or fears, or get rid of these, you know, kind of old worries in the world. And the reason why this Six of Wands pulled up here is the High Priestess card reversed. I think that the victory is coming from, you know, when you weren't listening to your guides, you know, or you were doubting your guides. But if you start listening to your guides about it, if it's a situation you need to leave, then you have a victory. If it's some situation where your guides have been saying like, hey, you need to pursue this more, and you've been like, I don't know, because maybe there's a fear, maybe you just are like, I'm unsure about them, or you know, there's that like kind of like weird twist of things going the right direction right now, wherever this is, if you want to exit and if you want to enter in, definitely. Wow, we got Taurus, first house, Mercury. We need to be very clear of what we want and speak it and say it. Like, it's like, just be clear, just say it, just step into the power of your value and what you want, and it'll be good. But communication is definitely a big part of all this, and the communication of what you want and how you want it to look and feel. And it's also about holding the line of your value. Like, you know what? I'm not into this, so I'm sorry. Mercury and Taurus is not, you know, it'll say it. You know, Andy Cohen from Bravo, he has Mercury and Taurus as a Gemini. It's like, you know, he's just kind of like, no, yes, no. Like, he's very, you know, like, it reminds me of that. So it's like, you know, you have to kind of stand your ground and be like, this is what I want and this is how it's going to be. And then when it comes to like entering into something new, it's like, you know, using the sensuality of the beauty that you see in that other person. Although it's not easy sometimes, I think, in exits to kind of, you know, talk about the beauty when the beauty you need to focus on is your beauty that you want out of things first. If you try to lead with the beauty of the other person before putting the beauty for yourself first, then it won't go anywhere.
Yeah, but even when you do, you know, potentially leave someone, that with this reading, it is saying that there is going to be a bond. Now, whether that is when you leave someone, but it's going to come through the expression of like actually tangible words of like your emotions and how you're feeling, what's going on in your mind. With that, either there's going to be that growth together in which there's going to be this strong partnership because it's going off of a truth, it's going off of the foundation of who you actually are, digging up, you know, the skeletons in your closet, so to speak. That might scare them away, or you might realize that you don't actually need them, but at least you got them out of the way and they're out into the open now. You can move forward. You can start to heal from them. Mm-hmm. So just take the steps. Heal, Chiron.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, if you're coming into new, like this could be the way to heal your own scars in your own stuff that maybe aren't even scars anymore, right? Because sometimes, I mean, I got a lot of scars. I've got man hands, you know, it might not look like it, but trust me, I got really rough man hands because I freaking cut my hands all the time. I'm in motors and I'm in computers and I'm a dude. So, you know, but I don't like sit there all day and just go, look at all these, you know, calluses and look at all the, you know, I just part of it keeps it the way it is. So, but if you're hyper focused on them, you know, it's like, I'm not going to use my hand on this today because I have a cut here and da 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 da. It's quite the opposite for me. I'm just like, I have a bottle of alcohol, like, you know, like that you use like for health, like, you know, like 70% alcohol on the spray bottles from Walgreens. And I literally just go, psh, psh, and I just rub it on and walk through life. Like I just keep going, you know what I mean? Like there's a little bit of that, like, you gotta, you know, so many people are so hypersensitive nowadays. Like, I need a Band-Aid on top of a Band-Aid with Neosporin, and I would like a doctor to look at it too, because it could be infected, and it's like 12 seconds after it just happened. It's like, relax. All right. We got Geminis.
Gemini. Alrighty. What do they have in store for them this week?
We are about to find out. I'm trying to load my YouTube app again. It's saying I'm offline. It's so weird.
So weird. So weird. So seductive. How's everyone's personal beauty checking in today? Are you feeling good about yourself? You know, I was listening to this podcast today. This individual goes by the name of David Goggins. And he was explaining his life. And sometimes you just got to call it as it is and call out your own bullshit. He has this thing, what he calls the accountability mirror, in which he would write down on this mirror on little sticky notes every single day, things that he wanted to accomplish or things that he didn't like about himself to hold himself accountable. So this is a time right now where we're all kind of stuck in, where you can kind of figure out where you want to hold yourself accountable as we go on this new journey and that you start this new life. What can you change about yourself, huh?
What can you change? There's a lot that can always change. All right. Geminis, well, we are Venus retrogrades coming up in your sign on May 13th, so it's slowing down. So the universe is making you kind of slow down and start to look at the values, the needs, and the wants that you have, and especially relationship-wise, like, what do you really want here? Maybe you need to really stop to think instead of running so fast all the time. Slowing down, especially Sun and Taurus. This is your 12th house with Uranus here, new moon. The universe is like, slow the fuck down and look at what's going to be the best for you in your long-term spiritual growth to take you into either heaven or hell. Because I'm going to be honest, Geminis, this is where you go into heaven or hell every 8 years with this Venus retrograde with relationships. So, you know, and be careful because, you know, this is the first time you've ever had a Venus retrograde in Gemini with Uranus and Taurus. So, and this is the last time that Venus retrograded. That's not this week, but it's coming. And that's why I keep preparing Geminis, because Venus retrograded with Jupiter in Capricorn in 1996. But I also want to say that with the square to Saturn in your 9th house, it's like, are you looking at all your options? And maybe there's a doorway right there that it's like an instant connection that makes sense. Or maybe are you blocking yourself from looking at other doorways and you're just so hyper-focused on, no, this is what I'm going to do. And you're lost in the 12th house, like, rah, and it's like, it's taking you in the wrong direction. You're going to have to figure this one out in extreme this week, especially with this moon that's going to be in Taurus too, with this new moon. This is your 12th house new moon. It's going to feel like you're a little bit in a prison or jail. But where's your exits to the better life? Well, you're going to have to stop and take a look and see that there's connections that are offering that. Are you willing to jump on that? Or are you just going to want to saturate in jail longer? Your first card that you got is the Empress upright. So this is definitely a card saying You've got to put the great life above everything. Not a half-ass, not, a quarter, not even 94%. Like, no, 100% of the great life and partnership and love life that can create the ultimate, feminine energy, but also the life that creates anything that it wants. Like, instead of staying in a place where it's like, well, I'm getting a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I'm okay with that. Like, Gemini, you have to stop, with Venus in your sign that's going to be here all the way into August. Like, I think that you need to start to realize that you need to start paying attention to, hey, can't you have better? Can't you have the best? Why are you starting to play this trick on yourself? Like, I'm accepting this situation. Even if you're single, might be your environment. It might be just around, like, I'm just going to chill out for a minute here. Just so much so to where you deny yourself of any connection to open up. There's doors. You're lucky. You got Saturn in Aquarius. Mars is in Aquarius. Don't fuck it up. You got doorways. Not a lot of people do. Wow, your spiritual advisor or your challenge card is the lunar eclipse change. So, you know what? This is always a card that comes in that just kind of goes kaboom. Especially to new moon, and this is a lunar eclipse, that's opposite. So it's almost like, you got to let go of these things that are not working out emotionally, that you're attached to, that are from the past. And that your challenge is like dealing with change for a better life. You almost don't want to accept change. You just want to like stay in a half-ass kind of situation, or just half-ass life, or not. You're afraid of truly putting your emotions fully into something that's really going to change your world. For your overall card, you got the 10 of Cups in reverse. Woo! A lot of people love this card. This is the card of family and the rainbows, and everybody's finally here. It made it to the 10 of Cups. Well, the reversal is saying, like, are you really on that road of the 10 of Cups? So I would say coupled people, like, is it real? There's a lot of stuff about, I'm just preparing people because I lived through the last Venus. We all did, but I don't know if you all were aware of the Venus shadow and Venus retrograde in Gemini. They are crazy when it comes to relationships. You need to pay attention to this one, Gemini, because it's almost like the outcome card here is like, is it really all rosy and daisy that you might think it is? I'm feeling that a lot. And then if you're single, it's like, are you holding yourself back from rosy and daisy and the ultimate rainbow? Like, what's your holdback? You're an empress. Why don't you fucking use that shit? Why are you afraid of like change or home life situation or family situations? Like, don't fuck up these doorways right now, Gemini. You got the Earth card. It's kind of funny. I feel like there was a lot of similarities in the last reading for Geminis. But, this Earth is saying, like, the change is to have the physical reality that you really want, the nurturing physically. Look at this Empress and the Earth card. There's a lot about that you can have the life that you want physically. And if you do have a life that you want physically in a partnership, is it really the one that you really want? You did pull the 4 of Cups over that Empress. Look at that. The universe is offering you amazing situations that are actually the bomb.com to make you that Empress, but it's almost like you're not wanting to take them. You're almost like, no, I'm happy with my half-ass. That's like me. You know what? I just finished one Sprite, and I took the other new one. But you know what? I have a whole case. So guess what? If God's going to show up with a whole new, if God showed up right now with some, I don't know, root beer, do you think I'm going to say no? I'd be like, you know what? Great. I'll take root beer too. Whatever. But somehow, Gemini, you might be going through this whole part of like, no, I'm cool with this right now. I've got this. This is all good. I don't want anything more. You don't want anything more? Well, maybe God's trying to give it to you for a damn reason. Maybe I think that you think you've set yourself on your true power of where you're going in your life without realizing that the universe is going to bring you in things that are going to make it more powerful, but it's almost like a denial of that power, Or, you know what? 4 Cups over the Empress is like a not happy Empress. She doesn't feel like she's getting what she wants. I'd look at coupled ones for that. Wow, you pulled the Magician card upright over the 10 of Cups in reverse. So guess what? You're the one who either makes the magic happen about this magical road or not. But it has to be where it's like, you know, you're in partnership and you're in collaboration with people who understand the same magic as you do. Instead of trying to, I'm going to be honest, when I see a magician over the 10 of Cups, it's like a really bad wizard that didn't finish magic school, that's trying to turn something into magic and keeps fucking up the magic. Not following the true spiritual ways either. Libra, 10th house with the South Node. Stop focusing on how to make a choice that you think is just like this more fair and like this more chill road. Like, you can't make chill decisions. This is about making serious, emotional, Aries, I want this emotionally in my life, and making sure that you're getting all those emotions there. And if you're not, you got to be Aries and bold, North Node and Aries here. Don't get caught up in the South Node and the 10th of like, well, I could just kind of take this a little chill and make these choices that are serious. I could just kind of chill out a little bit. Like, this is like where I'm going to be honest with you. You're getting the most out of any sign, like into the weirder spaces, because you have this whole 30 days here in the 12th house. It's either heaven or hell. And you've got Venus going to go retrograde by May 13th. So, and this is a new moon on Uranus and the sun on Uranus this week in your 12th house. It's either unpredictable heaven or unpredictable hell. And the writing's already on the wall of the heaven and the writing's already on the wall of the hell. And you know what? With Uranus, you might also get tricked, especially if you're trying to convince yourself of a hell that's a heaven and convince yourself of a heaven that's a hell.
Are you going to allow yourself to transform and actually, build on this kingdom that you have? Or
give it away.
Yeah. Be lazy, not put in the work, and kind of watch it crumble. There's two sides to every coin, but you got to put in the work. You got to put in that effort if you want to actually succeed. It's not just going to magically appear and everything's going to work out. Sometimes it takes hard work.
Yes, it does. All right. We got Cancers. I saw that we just reached 2K. We're going to do the 2K after Cancer. We're just trying to rush it up. Trying to rush it up. Get through this. All right, Cancer. New moon in Taurus, your 11th house. Are you ready for a new and exciting world? I think that this is a good transit for Cancers. Although the big square to Saturn there in the 8th is the new exciting, future in life for your relationships is based upon if your edge is being met, your sexual pleasures are being met. Cancers are really having a look at, I was born with Saturn and Scorpio, so if I can teach you about Saturn in the 8th, you think it would be, no, maybe I should restrict myself more of my passions and wants. No, Saturn is always where you always restrict yourself the most. That's a big spiritual astrology lesson if I can give it to anybody. So, Cancer, where are you denying yourself of receiving the greatness in what you want in your life by also defining the excitement and the new energy that it's going to take, spicing things up? You got to remember that the sun's going to conjunct Uranus this week, while the moon will be coming out of Taurus and come over Venus here this week. That's before it's going to be retrograde. So this is going to be the last time that the moon and Venus are together for a while in Gemini with a direct. So, and this is actually the last time we're going to see the moon and Venus in this week conjunct while they're direct, while Venus is direct. So guess what? Like, for you, there's this weird flip of the switch here with the Venus going deeper into your 12th house. Like, it's almost like, oh, this looks like it's going really good or creative or, whatever. And then it's almost like, oh, it's not really going anywhere. I'm not getting my edge. I'm not getting my passion. And I'm not, this isn't as exciting. Maybe I need to look around at a lot of different exciting new places. This is experiment time, Cancer. And I don't know. I'm just going to be real. Like, this Venus in the 12th, if You're teeter-tottering in this Venus shadow to retrograde in a situation that's weird already. It's going to get weirder. You pulled the King of Swords upright. So you need to think straight. You need to think with your power and what is logically making sense. And you need to be bold with your thoughts. You know, King of Swords is like, I know exactly what this makes sense. This doesn't make sense. And I'm going to do that. It's a cold card though. And you're not easy at being cold, Cancer, but sometimes you got to be cold. Cancers can be cold really quick. Especially when it's not going emotionally right. Sometimes you have to be cold, right? And so this King of Swords is saying this week, like, you need to stand up for yourself as exactly what makes sense for you logically and not get lost in dreams this week. You did pull the Saturn return card here as your challenge, meaning that you might understand what you have to do, but are you going to actually execute it? I think that there's this, could also be an age issue, but I'm feeling this, like maybe a partner or somebody you're trying to get with, like the age doesn't make sense. I don't know why I'm getting that. It's kind of crazy. But also at the same time, it's like there's this kind of fear of like stepping into your authority over what you know is logically going to make sense and stepping into that power with that. Your overall card that you got is the Ace of Cups in reverse. So, overall, you know, you want a whole cup filled full of things, but you still haven't cleared out the old past cups and the old past emotions. And maybe also there's something missing here emotionally that could be cleared by just taking authority of what doesn't make sense and speaking about it and making some changes here. Because this overall is showing some weird shit here. Ace of Cups reverse, like you want it to feel this overflowing energy, but it's missing its overflowing. Wow, look at this. The only way that you get through this challenge card with the Saturn return is you need to make a major shift. And that's what the Saturn decision is, and the authority and the adult energy is. Something has to shift here majorly. I always pull another card for the shift card, because what are we going to shift? I'll pull from this deck here. Actually, we'll pull from the Enchanted deck. Why not? It'll be kind of interesting to see what the shift is. We're going to get a little bit more specific. We'll do a little Enchanted. And what do we got here? Faith. So there's a shift of faith. Maybe it's either one, you put too much faith into something, even though it logically doesn't make sense with that King of Swords there. Or maybe that you need to put more faith into it. Although I am feeling with an Ace of Cups reversed and with this King of Swords, we're going to see if it's keep the faith or lose the faith. Well, you pulled the Nine of Wands with that King of Swords, meaning that, okay, you've definitely been holding this position really well. And, you know, this is the card that always is the one that is kind of like the security guard that's protecting the castle gates. But it's almost like, you know, what's inside there? Is it worth still holding the line for this? Are you still trying to hold the line for something that makes sense? The Ace of Cups pulled because you got the Two of Wands in reversed. So the worlds just don't make sense. So I would say with the Faith card, how are you going to keep faith on something where the worlds are just like off? That's what needs to shift, because a Saturn return card, age is like stepping into your adulthood. Like, you know, it's kind of sucks. You might be a kind of like a, you know, little crotchety old person this week, because it's like, you know, we gotta be real. Like, I'm not going to go hang out with some like younger kids right now and go talk astrology with them. I don't want to, you know, get like, their parents make their choice about their beliefs. Like, I don't want to be ever like even my own niece, I don't talk to her about astrology. I'm like, no, you know. So, you know, this is kind of that thing where it's like maybe you're dealing with like a lot of child energy, different worlds, trying to fulfill yourself with somebody who's not even close to your level. You pulled the moon in the first house of Capricorn. Yeah, that's definitely being a cold-hearted, you know what, emotional, I need what I want to get where I need to go, and I need to make an emotional choice, and you need to set precedence on what emotion that you need to, you know, just kind of separate from the comfort zone and get back into like, I need to make a move here. I need to make a move on the chessboard, because if I don't emotionally, I won't feel comfortable. You can't sit back this week and just keep seeing things as they are and just seeing what's to happen. You need to plan ahead emotionally of what you want and make those emotional moves and execute them.
It's not the time to second guess your emotions. It's almost like you've had this thought or this feeling as to what is going on in the situation, but you're kind of holding back almost. You're like, oh no, maybe it is going to work out for the best. No, maybe that's not the worst thing ever. When really it's bugging you deep down inside, and you got to actually stand up for yourself so that you can move forward and just get all that bullshit out on the table and call it for what it is.
Yeah, and I think it's sexy time, 2K reading.
Sexy time. Oh, sexy time.
On this sexy time reading, I'm just going to switch 2 decks around. I'm going to put the Golden Tarot last, and I just reshuffle the Illuminati Tarot, and now I'm putting the Golden Tarot as the 3rd card. You know what? I'm showing Cancers how I just shifted.
Look at that pink.
Look at that pink for that sexy time. So sexy time is I want you to think of somebody that we're going to do this reading for you, for anybody out there in the collective or anybody that watches the recording of this. But remember, if you've not talked to this person, you're not flirting with them, and they ain't flirting with you back, you can't use them. You got to be in a relationship with them, currently talking with them, currently flirting, currently they're on your radar and they're on your radar, and you know that, and it's clear and not clear from your own weird schizophrenic, like, oh, you talked to me in the ethers. No. All right. Yep. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You got that person. You can't use it on somebody else. Don't try and say, well, that makes more sense for this other person. No, this is the person that we're talking about right now. Well, there was 2 cards that came up actually right away. Look at that. So we got that out of the way, but it's a King of Wands with the 2 of Wands upright. So, wow, this person is like, you see the whole world with this person. You see them as the big lover of all time. Like, you want to make mad sexy time love with this person, and you feel that they can not only offer you the world you want, but the ultimate of all ultimate. So, woo, this is a hot connection that you're hoping for and that you're looking for, or is. The challenge with this situation is the Jupiter card. So it's like there's, I think, a lot of unknowns. Is it, where's it going? You know, Jupiter, when it's in challenge position, is like, I don't know where it's going. I don't know if it'll go. I mean, I believe, but maybe there's this whole feeling of like, well, why isn't the abundance showing up? Why isn't it going the place I want it to go? It's like, well, we're going to find out. Just know that's the challenge. There's a lot of hot energy here, but it's like, okay, there's a challenge that it just doesn't feel like it's maybe reaching and going towards where you want it to go. Our overall card we got is the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. So maybe some of that abundance issue or Jupiter issue is that there's not kind of like a day-to-day understanding of it, or there's not a cycle. So if we're talking about sexy time, you know, it's almost like, you know, maybe it might be like a little bit too, what's the word, Craig? If it gets a little too like
Kinky,
monotonous, where it's just like, it's 10 p.m. It's sexy time. Like, you know, that doesn't.
make sure we keep the lights off.
Yeah, like like, man, that's a weird one. Whenever I've heard like we can't do this till the lights off, I'm like, what do you mean? I don't mind it with the lights on. It's fucking hotter. I can actually see what I'm.
Way more better.
Way better. I know. It's kind of funny that you and I agree on the same thing. I just don't understand that one. But it feels like there's this 8 of Pentacles in reverse. It's almost like, has this thing become like a fucking really shitty one? If it's a partner that you think about that has a hot connection, but you don't understand where it's going. It's like, one, has it just become kind of hamster wheel-ish, just the same kind of thing? Or B, the other with this opposite or reversal, it would be like, maybe there needs to be more engagement of it constantly. Maybe it's like you need to start putting it on the factory line. You know, it's kind of like, there's this great product, this sexual connection and this energy, but it's like not being packaged and shipped and being a more daily thing or a weekly thing, or, you know, there's something where it's either just too bland and boring as far as how it's accessed, or it's not accessed enough and it's not put on the line. The way do we get through the challenges? Look at this veiled card to show up how to get through this challenge of Jupiter. I would say that it needs to get a little bit more dark and kinky. maybe that is the issue, as Craig had said, like, you know, turn the lights off, or like maybe there's that whole element of like, how is that's going to be, this is funny, this is going to be flipped. That the challenge is the veiling. It's like you're not showing yourself fully. Maybe you need to like take the veil off, because maybe you're veiled. Maybe you're not showing enough like energy. Maybe you're not showing enough of what you want fully. Or maybe you're like too afraid of, and you know what? I'm glad you brought up the lights thing, Craig, because I got a feeling with this reading, whether it's you or this person, but I got a feeling it's you that's watching, that you have insecurities that you want to try and like hide. What's that? Why did we get that Eight of Pentacles reversed? Ace of Wands upright. Yeah, you gotta step forward with confidence, happiness, positivity, and really set the tone of the initiation of wanting it to be more. But if you're going to keep kind of being a little oversensitive and trying to hide something, or just like you're uncomfortable with yourself, that's not abundance. Jupiter's loud. Bum, bum, bum. It's the biggest planet. You can't be veiled and just be like, oh, well, I don't want to show you everything. Not that sexy. I'm going to leave my bra on. How about I'm going to leave all my clothes on. If I can. Let's try that one. Fifth house, Venus, Cancer. So there's a lot of love here that's possible, but it needs to get deeper into the comfort zones and the emotional zones. Craig hit it on the nail. That Scorpio came through with that psychic intuition hit hard. Because this is great. It could have a lot of love, and I think that's there, but it needs that deeper emotional touch. Like maybe, I don't know. How big is a king size bed? Is it 6 foot apart with masks on it sleeping? They haven't talked about that one yet. Do they want people to sleep in masks in bed? I doubt that. But, you know, there's that whole aspect of maybe spend the night near each other, or like have some cook together. Cancer. It needs to get a little bit more deep here emotionally, because I think there's a lot of hot passion here. It's just never been able to see its abundance, and it's never been able to truly step forward into actually making it a cycle. Boom.
It's just got 3 things for that sexy time reading.
What are they?
Leave the lights on. Figure out a safe word. Get weird.
Okay, give me your safe word situation. What do you mean safe word?
Well, the last safe word that I utilized was sunflower.
No, but like, what's the meaning of a safe word?
Well, you know, like if you have a belt around their neck and before they pass out.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that one just like kind of like, it's more like, just like, okay, yeah, all right, boom.
Yeah, I mean, it could be.
If they're being, you know, if they're being choked out, how are they gonna say the word?
Well, they just kind of like, they got to force it out. Either that, or you just got to pay attention.
Do you have an air horn that's placed fucking in your bed? Grab the air horn. It's a good idea. That'd make it a little hot. Like fucking neighbors all over. Everybody's in lockdown, coronavirus, and they just know every time you're doing it, fucking the air horn's coming out. They're like, Craig, you got the belt out.
Yeah, it's a multifaceted tool. It's not just for keeping your pants up.
Get that belt out.
Some nice leather.
We got Sages. Get that belt out.
Now you all know my secret.
This summer, coming to theaters near you, a man on quarantine. He was a Scorpio with a dungeon and a belt. He met a girl who had never had the lights on before, never played with an air horn, and eventually finds her freak. Air horn coming this summer.
Coming to a desert near you.
Coming to, well, I was thinking about this, about the whole, fucking coronavirus thing. It's like, why don't they just like bring back drive-in movie theaters in your car?
I've seen some articles about that actually, that they're starting to do that.
Like, especially today with like massaging seats and fucking, badass good sound in cars and like butt warmers and, you can hook up fucking a bunch of shit in your car, like 12 volt, like 110 volt and shit. And like, I don't know. Sounds fucking, I remember I used to go right before they closed them. They were fun. Anyway. Get that car rocking. All right, Saggy. Well, it's a new moon in your 6th house. I know. 6th house is not really about love. 6th house is much more about editing and shifting and adjusting. And so your love life, though, it's a dark moon in Aries. That's in your love house. Chiron there, too. So it's almost like, especially with Venus, which happens to be in your opposite sign, and it's going into shadow deep, and it's almost ready for retrograde. There's some major writings on the wall, Sag, about like, come on. Either A, single ones, it's like you don't have a lot of time here to enter into something to see where it's going to go, or you're just going to kind of feel like you're lost and alone through most of the cycle of June, July, and June and July, or May, June, and July. Or if you're in a relationship, Sag, there's a little bit of that whole, is this life really adjusting and healthy for me? And love-wise, especially with this Saturn now that's in Aquarius, you got to like, with the 3rd house, like there needs to be stimulation, there needs to be excitement, there needs to be, so I think for Sag's single ones, it's like, you need to just go take the leap for excitement and figure it out and see what's there. You're an adventurer anyway, and the universe is kind of supporting you with adventures. Not of babysitting, that was a great movie, but adventures of figuring out exciting love situations. And then if you're in a relationship and it's definitely got some weird stuff to it, it's going to have to be sorted out. And it's got to be in healthy alignment. And you got to look at health, and you got to look at your day-to-day reality and see if that life works. And, 6th house can be a little bit monotonous. So, with Uranus there, it's going to throw you some curveballs this week in a relationship if it actually is working for the best of your life. If you're in a relationship, and if you're not in a relationship, it's like maybe there's something that needs to change. You need to try a relationship out. It'll change your life. First card for Sages is the Queen of Cups upright. So you are looking for all the emotions and all the wet waters of feelings. Like you are gushy this week. You are ready to feel. Well, if you're in a partnership, like Sag, are you getting that? If you're single, are you getting that? Are you ready to do it? So, I think the overall understanding of this reading, just to begin with, is like there's a lot to feel here. There's a lot of depth that you want to feel. There's a lot of feelings that you want to have. Are they there, or are you not engaging in them? The challenge card is the Sagittarius. So I would say that your challenge is your own self about making the choice of what you believe. So if you believe it's exciting and it has the emotion, go towards it. If you feel like it's the most empty thing in the whole entire world, like, why are you afraid to adventure to a new place? You got the 6 of Wands in reversed. So as your overall, so you're definitely going to be facing some sort of, are you going to succeed or not kind of energy. And I think there's a fear of failing Of course, there's a fear of failing when it comes to entering into something new or exiting something. But you have to go to see. It's a failure always if you don't do anything. So you're facing the failure either way. You'd rather face a real failing than the failing of staying in the same place. That's not making you emotionally happy. How to get through this challenge? Trust. Look at this. You need to trust that you already know. You know, you see the vision, you know what to do. You need to trust in that, and you need to just do it. So if it's a positive one, like, yeah, I fucking need to do this, and that opportunity's there, you take it. If you know that you need to fucking end it, and it needs to be a different story, then you have to trust that, and you have to do it. The Queen of Cups, what did you pull? You pulled the Page of Swords reversed. Oh, man. It's like, here you are, overthinking it constantly and expecting for it to be somebody else when really it's you. It's like you know, because like nobody else, like they've already probably propositioned if it's a new situation. And then if you're wanting to leave, you're almost wanting to have them say they want to leave. Like you want them to fucking do it. Yeah, right. Fucking they ain't gonna say that. Look at this. You pulled the 9 of wands though, or sorry, cups upright. The victory, if you go towards it, even though it's scary because you might fail, you're going to feel overwhelmingly happy. Because if you don't do anything, that is the ultimate failure and you will not be happy at all. So if you try and play this week where you're not going to make a change in trying something or going off where the feelings are at right now, and you have to be honest and trustworthy of that shit, then you're going to fail if you don't do anything. But there's a possibility of failure, but gosh, there's also with this 9 of cups on top of that, like maybe it's not failure because actually it takes you to the happiest place in the world, even though right now it might not look that way, but you kind of deeply know this. That's what's the weirdest part. You already kind of know how it's all going to go. That's what this is saying. Leo, Jupiter, 10th house. Wow. So, you know, it's time to open up the gates of love, but it all comes down to a harsh and major decision about your long-term goals and how it's affecting your career. If your career is like, you know, kind of at a place where it's like, it's good, or you don't know where it's going, or, you know, I'm going to be honest with this Leo Jupiter thing. It's like, there's something fully missing about where your long-term life is going. It's confusing. It's because your happiness is not fully there. And you have to go on the adventure and you got to open up the doors to that happiness and love, whether that's exiting a relationship or entering into new one, wherever you're at. That'll help you understand your happiness, which will definitely help you understand your long-term path here. A lot of long-term path questions.
Yeah, it's getting back within yourself too, Sag, and kind of finding that inner happiness so that you can portray that to the outside world. You know, who actually are you? It's almost that maybe you've kind of given when you should have taken. You've kind of let pieces of you crumbled away a little bit, which almost were the cornerstone of who you actually were. And you need to get back to that. You need to get back to knowing yourself and knowing that true happiness that you have within. Let it shine, let it shine.
Who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you? Aries. Who are you? People better know where that's from, or I'm going to be very sad.
Me sad boy.
Then we don't live in Wonderland anymore.
Sad boy.
You know, I think there's nothing more sad in the world than Alice leaving Wonderland to come to coronavirus land, like, you know. I don't know, am I crazy? All right, Aries. This week, new moon in Taurus. Definitely time to look at what you can have. You can have anything you want in life, but with Saturn in Aquarius, if you're not going to try a new connection, you're not going to try a new world, adventure to new people by like executing that, like looking at your black book and start pulling it out and start making some calls. There is this Venus in Gemini saying, hey, you know, the environment you're in, is this the right one? You don't want to be stuck here, do you? Or like, what needs to change in your environment? But with Venus, you know, in this third house, and this week, it's, you know, by the end of the week, it's getting close to that square to Neptune. I think that with Neptune coming to 20 degrees this week too, you know, there is a part of you where it's like, there is a wonderland for you that you can have. If you don't have it now, you better fucking do something about it. Like, you need to make a change. If you have it now, you better make sure that you're not fucking it up and like having somebody who's fucking it up, or maybe you're fucking it up and exiting this thing, or they're exiting it, or they need to exit because they're holding the wonderland back. Again, I don't know why for a lot of single Aries, this is still talking to exes, getting caught up with the exes. This is where you want to cut the X off so you let the new shit in. Come on, Aries. First card that we got is the Five of Swords upright. All right. Somebody's trying either too hard. Maybe there's somebody that you're trying to date right now. They're trying too hard, and you're like, maybe it's that ex. Or maybe it's you. Maybe you're pushing for things too hard. Maybe you need to ease off a little bit and let people fucking, you know, want to see you, you know, or, you know, sometimes the best thing in the world, you know, is like not trying too hard, and it makes people go, hey, where are you? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, so you do really want me. It's a little secret. Look at this. The challenge card is the Yah Destiny card. Ooh. So it's almost like you're not willing to step into allowing destiny take its course. It's like you're trying to control destiny, I feel like, in a weird way. Especially, remember, Yads are weird. And it's like a puppet on a string, too. It's a puppet. But it's like, maybe you're trying to take over the puppeteer as the puppeteer when you're the puppet. Or you're puppeting somebody around. And Five of Swords, you're trying to, you know, why don't you do this in my life more? I can just see right now an Aries trying to run a puppet and throwing the puppet out the way. Oh, I can't handle this anymore. Like, you know what I mean? There's a direction that's being pointed, and it's almost like you can't see it. So it's almost like your compass is really fucked up right now. We're going to find out more why. Oh, overall, you got the Nine of Wands upright. I kind of like this card. He looks like a slouch. You slouching and kind of just staying in the same spot and content with it, but you're trying really hard. This is really opposite energies, right? Like, I will fucking take everything that I want from you, and I want you now. Oh my God. And this guy's just like, you know, I don't really need anything. Did you give me a number one at McDonald's, bro? Like, they're very opposites. So I think that you're dealing with a side of you that's like really wanting things, but then too slouchy to do anything about it, to be honest with you. Oh! Uh-oh, I don't like that card, but the jealousy card has come up. Beep, 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 beep. Ooh. You know, this jealousy could just be looking at outside people, especially if you're at home alone right now, or if you're in a relationship that sucks and you're looking at, you know, your Instagram and your YouTube or whatever, or TV, and you see all these couples at home doing good, and you're like, why isn't my shit going good? Or you're looking at like how, like, the Destiny card, it's like you're focused too much on events that you shouldn't even be paying attention to. You should be paying attention to your destiny and paying attention to where's the direction that God's telling you to go, because you're looking outside too much and you're trying to push too hard. Oh, the 10 of Swords in reverse. So you just keep doing these old patterns of trying for something and it doesn't work. And I think that you're over that. I think that you're tiring yourself out and realizing, I don't need to push so hard. I don't need to try so hard. I don't need to keep trying because it's not working. You need to find a new angle about how you deal with all relationships, Aries, whether it's the single ones or the partner ones. Like, there's a new angle about approaching your relationship, and you're going to have to come from a different angle. So if you're in a relationship this week, you're going to have to come from a new angle and try something new, because obviously it hasn't worked the same way, and that might frustrate you. Or you might be jealous over stupid things this week, or you might be dealing with a jealous partner too. But you did pull the Strength card with that 9 of Wands. So I think, no, the outcome for you is like, what do you really want to put your energy into? And then you slouch, right? The strength card is kind of funny on how it is a lion that is chilling too, with a lot of strength. I think that there's a lot of questions about where you're putting your energy, because I almost feel like you just don't know where to aim right now. And that could be just a simple thing this week of like, maybe there's just a changes in your relationship with your partner and you don't know how to handle it, or you're single and you're like, I don't know how to handle where to go next. Or you're, you know, dating somebody and you're like, I don't know where to take this direction. Like, I think a lot of it is like, maybe try something totally different. Maybe try pulling out for a moment. Maybe try, you know, where do you really, a lot of this outcome is saying that it's just more of the strength of knowing what you want and just doing it. But if you're going to, I don't know. It's a very confusing reading. We're going to have to go to the dice. Like it's not normal. It feels very weird. Like an anomaly week for Aries. Ninth house, Sag, Jupiter. Well, there's the whole thing. Everything's up in the air for you. I think that there's a lot of exploring and a lot of trying new things and a lot of different and just opening up new doors and trying new things and exploring new places, you know, and learning, right? Like there's a lot to learn here. But there's a vision, and I think that you need to be very clear on what that vision is so the direction is known, because I think that that's where the confusion is this week, is you need to set your sight on the visions and see where the doors are. It's very easy to see where doors are in life. But for some reason we try to, especially as in Aries with that Five of Swords, you might try to go blast down a door yourself. Like, doesn't really make sense to do that. You don't have a permit. The courts are closed.
Yeah, like you said, kind of like observing the other couples, and with that jealousy card, you know,
Ooh.
take note on that. You know, what is making you jealous, because that's going to be reflecting on where's lacking in that relationship of yours, what's lacking in that relationship with yourself that's not letting it succeed in the way that you want it to. So yeah, kind of observe what's going on around you and apply it to your life going forward.
Damn,
Daniel. And we're halfway through.
we're rolling.
Made it to the
We got Libras.
Libras.
I got an ashtray here now. Well, Libra, you just had that new moon last month about relationships. Now it's in the 8th house of sex, trust, depth, intimacy. So you might have some trust issues that you have to break. You also have to get to the bottom of, and I keep saying this to Libras, like it's like a broken record. Like, are you really into it all the way? Do you know how to attract what you really want? You're actually really good at attracting what you want, but now that Uranus is here, it's like you kind of feel like the weirdo in the room about that. And with Venus and Gemini, you know, I mean, I'll be honest, Libra, like this is your 9th house. There's a lot to look around with. Like, I think that you still have a lot of options to make sure that you know what you're getting into. And especially with Saturn in your 5th house of love and Mars here, I think a lot of it is like, hey, like you got to take seriously what you connect with in your life. And if you're not really that into it with the square to all this Taurus energy, then you're fucked. And that's Libra's nonstop issue, is like not looking at the options long enough, jumping into something and then being like up, and then it's not there all the way, and then waiting until it gets fucking crazy, and then, oh, now let me look at my options. But then you really don't look at your options, and you're in the next relationship about the person that you were already looking at before and while you were in a relationship. Is Libra's just basically in the zodiac just always just getting the same Libra story? No. But I think that this is a week for you to realize, like, you need to solve this mystery of like how to attract what you really want in and get to the deeper levels of what you really want and knowing how to attract it right. And also, if there's an energy that you're trying to attract and it's not coming to you, then you need to like look at other options instead of fixating so much and obsession. There's a little bit of obsession here. All right. Card that we got is, the 10 of Swords in reversed. So I think that you're over, trying the same thing over and over and over again in a relationship. It's definitely not going anywhere. Could be a partner that you're trying to, or somebody that you like, or your relationship. Your challenge card that you got is the 1st house. you're having issues about like knowing with what you really want, or you're identifying through a person. And I think that that's not going to work out for you right now. Focus on what your needs are and what your self is. And I know that's difficult. You got the Sun card as the overall card. So this is one of the best outcome cards I've seen. You know, there's a lot of light. There's a lot of positivity here. But I think that to get to this place, you know, you got to get over these patterns about, you know, trying to figure something out that's not working. And I think that at the same time, like the challenge is like identifying or misidentifying. I think it's more of a misidentification of how things really are and looking deep. Like, oh yeah, no, he's great in bed. No, he's really not. Oh no, the relationship's great. Oh, really? No, he's not. Oh, I really like this guy. Well, he never calls you back. You know what I mean? It's kind of like shit like that. Like, oh, and then once you like become clear of the identifications of the real misrepresentations of what you've been going through, well, then you can ride the Sun card and ride on there. Wow, look at that new life card. Ooh, new life, first house. So I think you're having trouble stepping into a new life, but hey, it'll go well for you, Libra. Step into a new life, step into a new situation, step into a new world. You got the Queen of Swords upright with that Knight, Ten of Swords reversed. Yeah, you need to find the direction. I think that you're looking at way too many things and it's like complicated. Things are not complicated. Find a new direction, find that place and just go to there. That Sun card you got is with the Knight of Cups reversed. So I think that, you know, I think that you're not leading with your emotions enough, the true emotions. I think that you're kind of stuck in the mud and you think that, well, I don't know if I really want to disrupt the emotional world that I'm at. Well, you're not getting what you want. There's a lot about you're not getting what you want. So you need to make some changes about that, try some new things and get the emotions moving in the direction that you want to go and start. There's misrepresentations on a lot of things. Leo, Uranus, third house. Ooh, wow. You got to really switch it up here when it comes to your love life and your happiness and try new things and connect to new people and start communicating with new people and start communicating or try communicating in a different way. But if that's not working, like you're pulling that Ten of Swords reverse. Like I would say that this is about new directions, new environments, new stimulation, and you need a lot of excitement. And if you're not getting that, well, what are you doing? Like, why are you still staying in unexciting places? Like, why are you afraid to step into the exciting place that you want to go?
It's the same thought processes that are, you know, leading them to the same spot, relationship after relationship, time after time. At some point, you're going to have to change that up. You're going to have to flip the script just a little bit and rewrite that book, you know, actually take the notes and accumulate everything that necessarily didn't work and that did work, and then apply that, change the things that aren't, you know, take the time for yourself if need be, and actually move it going forward. It takes process, it takes time. It's the steps to figuring out what actually is going to work for you and what is not going to work for you.
Boom. Aquas. Aquarius. It was 2020. And it was an aqua. Lost and confused, but no longer, or still a little lost and confused, got in their spaceship and realized it was hollow, empty, and they needed more. This is not the new moon I think Aquarius is really want to deal with, but it's always the new moon we don't want to deal with that actually is the best one for us. It's like when we have to take our medicine. Because what is Aquarius not like? Where's your planet Uranus fall at? Taurus. What is Taurus for Aqua? Fixation. Fixation on emotions. Getting an actual emotional situation. And yes, we know your feelings are weird. Yes, we know you like to leave when you want to leave. Yes, you're very good at convincing people that they're the fuck up and you know how to walk away really easy and fast. But, you know, you got to face the emotions. And the square to Saturn in your sign, what do you want? And are you willing to put your emotions in there? It's like, you know, gosh, I'll admit, man, this is 5 weeks plus, you know, I miss Vegas. You know, sometimes it's like, you know, you got to place your bets. and go through the wild ride of the roulette wheel of the emotions. But I think that for you, you're just like afraid to place a bet and hold that bet. Like, are you putting on red on black? That's why I play roulette. Like, I like seeing people like, okay, you're placing your bet. Okay, you're putting on odd, or you're putting on even, or you're putting on the first three. Oh, okay. You're putting it on 23 red, or you putting on 13 black? All right, let's go. Let's see what the wheel turns out. Like, there's a lot of like, fuck it. Let's just see. If you're not feeling something, fuck it. Go find something that you fucking want to try different emotionally. If you're feeling it, like, double down on the bet. Pretty simple. I mean, Venus is in your love house, so you better figure this shit out quick. If you're like empty and you're in an empty spaceship right now and you want love, you better fucking do a lot more than just like a little high. You got to get emotional into it. And you got to be willing to take some risks emotionally. And you got to step forward into your own sign. Remember, Saturn's going retrograde here in less than a month. Pluto goes retrograde in your 12th house too. You don't want to be left with nothing here. 7 of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, so you're working on things and it's not going anywhere. Whether that's a relationship or just in your own personal life right now, you're just working on a bunch of shit and it ain't going anywhere. There's no payoff. There's no payoff on what you're working on right now. Like, you're trying, or you're not putting any work in at all. 7 of Pentacles, this is definitely in reverse. Like, I'm not putting any work in it. I want to expect a lot of results. Well, okay. In Taurus, guess what? Taurus becomes rich, full of bountiful fruit at the farm by getting up in the morning and planting the seeds and fucking watering it and doing all the work. Like, there's a part of you that it's not, either you're not showing up, or again, Aquarius is a very good, like, well, my partner's not showing up. I'm putting all this work in. It's like, well, maybe you're scaring the fuck out of them. You're being disconnected. Who knows? Look at that. Oh, yeah, especially with this challenge is the earth element stability card. I think that you really are just almost over hypersensitive, focused on stability. Like, well, I want a stable situation. It's like, no, you don't. The challenge is the fact that, you know, you don't know how to be stable because it involves stability. And like, there's many ways that you like your freedom and you like your own way, and you don't want to have to put in all that work, especially to birth the stability in. So it's like you're creating kind of like a really weird, distorted reality here. You did pull as your overall the 3 of Cups. You definitely need to get social. You need to get on that fucking phone. You need to start calling. You need to start flirting. You need to start having fun. Because let's be real, like, you're going to be missing out here, or it's going to be a really lonely. And everybody thinks, oh no, this whole thing's over with the shutdown, like in the lockdown. Yeah. There'll be such a big world out there to go get out of your lockdown. It's like, oh, you can now go outside your house 6 foot apart and take out your food now. Go to work with your mask on and don't talk to anybody. Okay. So I think that you need to get on the social thing much more, and you need to like have more fun. You need to have fun. That's what's going to bring out these emotions and make you want to work for something and find the stability. But it's like, oh man, look at this. Your divine masculine popped out to get over that issue of why stability is not there. You're not taking action enough, especially with that 7 of Pentacles in reverse. You're not taking action on what you want. You're not putting the work in. You're not putting it there. You don't have a lot of time. You better rush. You better rush. You better rush, Aquarius. You better get on that shit. Well, you pulled 2 cards, actually. Yeah, ironically enough. You pulled the Moon card reversed, and you pulled, wow, the Justice card reversed. So you are really unbalanced emotionally right now and not showing any of the emotions and the subconscious emotions that you want. You're afraid to. You think that they've been unfair in the past, or you think you've always, this is also dealing with like, well, I don't have to bring up any of my feelings, really, or I don't, my past is just littered with just nonstop bad feelings that went down, and they were unfair to me, or this was unfair. Like, this is just a fucking shit show here of why you're not wanting to put the work in. That's all on your own doing, emotionally and subconsciously, and bullshit. And you pulled the 5 of Swords as your upright position here as the overall under your 3 of Cups. So yeah, maybe, you know what, maybe you try a little too hard to connect with people, and then that comes across weird. But maybe I don't know why I'm feeling this, because it is kind of the understanding of why you need to do the 3 of Cups. I said you need to rush, and there is something about the 5 of Swords that needs to just kind of push a little bit harder. I think that you haven't pushed hard enough, to be honest with you. That's how I'm reading this. I don't think you've pushed hard enough. I don't think that you've tried hard enough. And if you've tried hard enough, and it didn't go to the party you wanted, well, then that was not the party ever. So if you're saying, well, I've pushed hard enough and they're not working out, it's like, well, that obviously means that they didn't want you. If you want something and you want someone and you want something to go a different way, it means, and it hasn't, and you haven't pushed hard, you better start pushing hard. Push me. Fifth house, Taurus, Uranus. Okay, you got a lot of fifth house energy here in Taurus, like a quality love, but you got to try some new things, connect in new ways, reconnect, like bring the electricity to it. And then, of course, Uranus and Taurus, that was what I brought up. This is where the new moon is. So that's definitely your falled position. So you're going to have to try to find happiness in ways that you're not the best at. And I think that you need to realize that you can be greater at it. We build value by trying things and doing it. Like, you don't become good at doing tarot by not pulling tarot. You do become good at tarot by continually doing the readings.
You need to find your strength and go out and get it, you know? Actually figure out what it is that you want, apply that energy, go get it. It's not just going to come to you. Yes, we can manifest all that we want, but you do have to put some sort of action forward as well.
Yes. Virgo. Talk to your Virgos. Like, they fucking get out that fucking vacuum and it's like, this carpet's not right. Adjust the chair now. Fucking, they just do it. Aquariuses might look at it and be like, I know I can convince somebody in my head here by just leaving the situation or doing something weird, for they'll do it for me. Well, Virgos, this is a new moon in Taurus. This is another earth sign, so it's positively aspected to a lot of those to Virgos out there. But, you know, this is your ninth house, so it is a big question mark about, well, where are things going next in my life? And that could just be an overall, but it also is for your love life. Like, well, where does my love life go next? Now, this is not a bad thing, but there's a lot of, you know, like, wow, there's a lot coming up, or a lot of experience here, new experiences that are coming up with the sun and Uranus. But the square to Saturn in your sixth house is, well, how does that look in my reality? It's like a freak out here of like, well, but I have a reality that was set, and now it's asking me to kind of adjust to a new one. I think that, yeah, if you want love and you're single, your reality is obviously not expanded enough for trying new things. It's like, it's almost like you're kind of stuck in the same routine, and it's time to end that. The universe is like, okay, new routine, new way to live your life now. That'll bring you more happiness. Venus in your 10th. It's going down south, so you know, it's going into its shadow even deeper. I think that a lot of this is like, come on, Virgos, like, you got to make choices, and if you don't make choices here soon, you know, like, you're not going to achieve what you really want in a partnership or take it to the level that you want. And then on top of that, you have to remember that this is going to be a major time, because we are going to see the moon on Venus in your 10th, and I think that it's about, like, you know, not being afraid to make the choices about the kind of life that you want to have in your love life, and making adjustments and believing and being willing to explore these new exciting areas of new realities, of new lives that you could have. Relationships can change your life. But you do have Neptune and Pisces, remember. That's going to 20 degrees this week. It's never been to the third decan since the 1850s, around 1855, 1856. Oh my gosh. And the third decan is way different than that. You're going into the top tier now of weird relationship life. What? Like, what? So let's see where this weird shit's going to go. You did pull the 10 of Wands upright. So, man, I know you've got a lot of heavy weight that I think that you don't need to hold on to anymore. But you are almost at the end of the path here. So maybe, you know, it's kind of that energy this week where it's like, no, I'm still going to keep going in the direction. I'm almost at the finish line. So, you know what? Maybe this might not be the most amazing week in love. Maybe, you know, you got too much that you feel like you're holding, but that's up to you. Maybe there's something that you can drop. Maybe you don't need to drop everything, but, like, you know, maybe that bag of groceries that has just like boring stuff that's not non-essential goods. If you want more, something that's essential, like love, to come in your life, maybe you have to drop one grocery bag on your way to the fucking door. I think there's this whole overall feeling like I've got too much going on. Well, you obviously are yearning because you got Mars here as your challenge. So you definitely want the bow chicka bow. You definitely want that Mars. You want that sex. You want something action oriented to come into your life. But here you are, as this old geezer walking up the road with a bunch of things in his hands. He's got no room. He's got no Viagra. Doesn't have enough room to hold the Viagra. So, I think Virgos, you want something to happen, but that's the challenge. Are you willing to take action towards it, or are you afraid? I don't have room or time. Your overall card is the Devil card. Ooh, gosh, you know what? You definitely want some intense things to happen on, but then you're like playing games with either a person or yourself, where you're like, well, I got too much, but I want all that. It's like, okay, that'd be like being like, I want to play Ouija board. And then it's like, I'm going to go to Toys R Us. Well, they're closed now. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to buy one. And then like not ever opening the kit. And then I don't want to, it's like, stop playing with people, Virgo, and stop playing with yourself. Start allowing somebody to play with like playing with you. You need to listen to your guides more about how to take action. It's like, your guides are like giving you these messages and these visions of what to do, but it's like, why are you not following them? Like, why aren't you just following them? That 10 of Wands popped up and you did get the 5 of Cups in reverse. So there's too much past sorrow that you keep holding on to that you need to let go of, because the old past is the old past. Like that's what you're holding on to, is the past. You're holding on to all this past sorrow that is just unwarranted anymore. And you pulled the Devil card because you got the 6, or is that the 9? Yeah, it's the 9 of Swords in reversed. I think that you're afraid of just like getting on with what you really want. You think that you're doing something wrong. You think that you're doing something terrible, when it's like, actually, you're fulfilling your needs. Why are you not wanting to fulfill your needs, Virgo? Do we need to have a talk? Sun in the 7th house of Cancer. Well, the comfort's going to come through dealing with relationship situations emotionally and entering the emotional world through relationships. So you're going to have to get deeper emotionally with people in your relationships. And if you're avoiding that, well, you're definitely going to have a really hard week. So you're going to have to confront the emotions of some relationships that are very serious. Or if you're not in one, you're going to have to let the emotions be known so the other partner or the other person knows what's going on, because I don't think they know where you're at emotionally. There's a lot of beating around the bush. Maybe get that bush trimmed.
Yeah, it can be exhausting, this long journey that we're on to get here. It can be quite tiring, and at some points we feel like we might want to give up, but we never should give up. Unless the writing's on the wall, and then, in fact, you definitely should give up. But you gotta actually be honest and be truthful about it. Don't just give up because it's the easy way out. Never take the easy way out. Find that little bit of struggle and work through it. There's going to be some great appreciation once you actually achieve what you're looking for.
I was all beat around the bush and I forgot what you had said and I was laughing. Leo.
That it can be exhausting.
Mm-hmm. It can be exhausting having to beat around that bush. Sometimes it's got to be trimmed. Oh. Ladies tell guys like us, like that have beards, right? Like, that needs to be trimmed, right? Yeah, you can't make out with me. It's like, okay. Well, it's funny. It's like guys can't say the opposite thing either. It's bringing up some of that fucking deep truth shit that nobody talks about. It's like, how dare you? It's like, well, how dare you tell me about cutting my fucking hair? I know a really good joke, but I don't think it's good for TV.
Save it for full disclosure, which is exclusively
Oh
on
yeah, I'll
High
save
Five
it
every
for full
Wednesday.
disclosure. All right. Well, Leo's new moon in Taurus, it's about work. It's about your mission. It's about career. All right. Well, I know that's not very lovey-dovey, but it is squaring Saturn in Aquarius. So you feel like you have these big choices in your life right now about where you're going in your long term and who's going with you and who's not. Who wants to go with you, who's not. So, you know, you need support. It's a big mission. But does anybody want to go on that mission, or is anybody going to show up? There's a lot of blocks for Leos in relationships right now with Saturn here. It's almost like, you know, nobody wants to show up. You know? Because they remember, they got to understand the mission. That's the whole thing. You have Uranus in the 10th. So you are connected to raising the vibration in your career life and doing all that. But maybe that's the whole thing, is like, in order for somebody else to come in and or for your relationship life right now, it's like there's this whole like give and take about career and their life. And, you know, it's hard with all the, you know, Jupiter, Pluto in the 6th. It's like you're busy. But there is to say with Venus in the 11th, like you really want just some excitement and fun and social and some friendship vibes. And so, you know, it's almost like, you know, if anybody doesn't want to show up and be part of the royal court, because the king will show up down, he'll walk off the throne and be in the royal court. Who showed up in the royal court? Maybe instead of looking for relationships that don't want to be in the royal court and just even talk to have fun, just to talk, maybe stop chasing after people that aren't even in the royal court. Like, you know, it's like, and if nobody's coming in the royal court, well, maybe they're not into what your mission is. Maybe you have to rethink your mission. Maybe I didn't realize as an astrologer and tarot reader and an owner of a spiritual fucking company that a lot of girls don't really want that shit. Like, now I understand what, like, I guess I don't want, it's a bad example, but maybe I understand as a Leo, like now it's like, maybe I understand I chose a spiritual, like it's like a pope that's not allowed to have a wife. It's kind of like, well, God, I guess. Wow, 4 of Cups in reverse. So I think that you feel like nothing's coming your way, but maybe you might be surprised. 4 of Cups in reverse always feels like nothing's coming your way, or God's not going to bring you anything. And you're it's almost like you're almost too willing to take on anything too, because you're kind of like, well, nothing's showing up. So when it shows up, I'll take it. So it's almost like, okay, when something shows up, make sure that, you know, it's coming from a space of like, well, nothing's been showing up. So like, let me just make sure that you understand a lot of the things, you know what I mean? Like there's that whole, you know, you don't want people to not understand what's going on if it comes in, but you know, there is an overall feeling of this week that nothing's coming in. Let's see how that changes. The challenge for that is the Aquarius card. So it's almost like, yeah, you don't feel like anything's connecting, or you feel like everything's very disconnected, or you might feel like you're disconnected. But, you know, I feel like with this 4 of Cups, it really feels like nothing's showing up. It just kind of feels like everything's kind of out there. And that might be hard to deal with right now. And I think that you're going to have to shift the way that you deal with feelings of that. Or if you're in a partnership, you might feel like your partner is just totally disengaged right now. Or if you're dating people, you feel like they're totally disengaged. But, you know, maybe you have to engage. And then if you're engaging and they're not showing up, then don't engage anymore. The spirit, or the outcome card is the 9 of Cups reversed. We had that card last week in the first position. So overall, it's like feeling like you've given too much optimism to things and it hasn't really worked out. So it's like you've kind of given up hope or given up positive energy. How do you get through this? This is a challenging reading. Well, affluence. You know what it is? It's you're waiting for the bomb.com. So instead of maybe looking at it like nothing's showing up, maybe you look at it as like nobody's really wanting to be that high class, pristine bomb.com. Maybe they don't hold the self-worth for that. Maybe they're not willing to. Affluence means you step into the affluence of yourself, right? Like I make my own decisions in my life. I create the life I want. It's like you're waiting for somebody to show up that actually is going to be like, yeah, I want this, and I'm going to show up and I'm going to do it. That's what it is. And that holds the affluence that you need outside of that in the physical realm too. So just know that, it's not that nothing's showing up. Maybe it's more like, you're looking for like some really high-end shit here. It's not like you're, and that's hard in this world, right? Like everything's kind of gone on the shelves. You're like, well, unless that's the super soft toilet paper, I ain't going to fuck with that really hard, dry shit. That 4 of Cups reverse showed up because of the 6 of Wands in reverse. So, you don't feel like you're having any victories right now this week. Maybe that's coming into the week. I don't know. We're going to see.
You're feeling very stagnant over there, are you, Mr. Leo King?
Oh, it's been very I've been dealing with a lot of, personal life shit, though.
The self-worth is from within the stagnant. And
there's nothing about self-worth here, Skid.
The true travel was coming off of this.
You know what? If there was something about self-worth, I'd let you know. But not one card in here has anything to do with self-worth.
You have the power within.
It's quite the opposite. It's more like nobody's fucking showing up with their worth.
You have the power within.
Not every relationship is drawn in by the same situations.
That is true.
Trust me. I had fucking a stalker show up here from Texas and show up. I have no problem with people showing up.
She brought you a Sprite, though, right?
The quality of the showing up. It's not that attractive when some people might think that's attractive, but it's not attractive when somebody is saying, you're talking to me in the ethers all the time to come here, right? It's like, that's fucking scary. That's not hot. I'm like looking for my phone and my gun and, calling the police to get you the fuck out of here.
Did she leave the Sprite?
Huh?
Did she leave the Sprite?
Yes.
Did you throw it in the trash?
It was weird. I didn't touch it. I went, and then I fucking Lysoled it with the Lysol wipe. I Lysol wiped that shit. All right, last card, Leo. I don't know. This looks like a really shitty week for love. Oh, fuck. The Judgment card reversed. It almost feels like nobody wants to step up to the calling. But you're waiting for the ultimate affluence. That's the positive part. So, if somebody finally does, it's because they hold the candle, right? But if anybody else isn't showing up, it's like, well, what can you do? Neptune in Virgo in the 9th. So, this is about, a just shift in reality. It's a shift in becoming of the subconscious patterns of, is the reality expanding enough? Is your day-to-day life opening? Are you willing to open up your day-to-day life? And with Neptune there, I feel like it also is learning to just surrender to the way life is and just be open to how life will work. So I think that this is more of the surrendering to how life will just work out. Adjustments are always necessary, but I think that there's a lot here with the 9th house of just being open to see what will work in reality or not. But there's something to say, though, with this Neptune, with Virgo in the 9th. It's like, don't sacrifice your life to open up a door. Just because you're in cock block world.
Yeah, never settle. Never settle. That's the worst thing that you could possibly do is a couple of years down the road, you just realize that what the hell am I doing with this individual because they came into my life at a vulnerable moment and I seized that. And it made me happy for a little bit. It ain't going to work out in the long run. You are that royalty. And I've been finding that within myself too. Individuals reach out to me and it might look nice in the very beginning, but as you peel it back, you're like, no, that's not actually going to work, and you almost caught yourself in a little trap as to where you're going to be stuck for a long time. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. I think my problem is, I I like work a lot and my hours are not normal, so it is what it is.
It is what it is.
You know? So it's like when somebody's down for that, they're down for that. You know, I think it's the most funny living this life right now in a lockdown when most people don't have jobs and they're not working. And they're like, good night. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm working. Like, it's like trying to live a normal life in an unnormal time. Very weird to me. As I showed you on the video, that the whole idea of time is being hexed. So, you know.
Yeah, we'll show the remainder of that at the end for closing.
Yeah, because when you're living your whole life off the clock and time and all that shit, like you're literally not in the zone. Never in the zone.
We operate on a 24-hour clock here.
Yeah, we do. But I think that's how spirituality is, right? Like, it's like the clock's only meant, like, if it's a football game, you go, okay, I got 12 seconds to do the play. But while you're in the play, you're in the play. You know what I mean? And like, you don't go, I'm only going to do this play. I'm only going to throw the football really good when I have enough time. Like, so many people live their life off, oh, when I have enough time, when I have enough time, when I have enough time. It's like, you know how many people have more time than me? I'm like, oh my God. And then everybody's always trying to push things off. I'm like, what? So you want me to push my life to when you're ready to push your life when I'm the one fucking doing shit all the time? I don't understand that one. I'm always like, what are you doing? Like, well, not really doing anything. It's like, why are you pushing things off so far away? It's just avoidance. So many people are so afraid. I just cannot, you know what? This is just my own personal opinion. I have never seen more people afraid in my life of love in my life. It's crazy. Like, the fucking hex worked on so many people. Blows my mind. Pisses me off. Scorpio!
Oh, really?
Well, you know what? It ain't no what?
Oh, really? Scorpio time?
Yes, it is.
Cause ain't no party like Scorpio party, baby. Ow!
Woo!
Is everybody awake? Is everybody in?
Is everybody awake?
The ceremony is about to begin.
The ceremony of Scorpio. All right, Scorpio, this is the big one for you. The new moon in your 7th house of relationships with Uranus there. Woo! The wild card. The Joker card here for your relationship life. Well, the square to Saturn is, okay, emotions, blockages. So you might feel emotionally blocked about relationships or unsure of how much emotion you want to get, or it could be location issues like, oh, this is exciting, but you live where? I think that today, Craig, you did tell me about a story that America is now not allowing any immigration in temporarily.
Correct.
Which could be a long time. So, Scorpio, if you're trying to date somebody that's not going to work out in location, get the fuck out of it now. Stop talking to it. Or at least if there is a possibility and it is far away, like, make it clear, like, we need to figure this out now. And if we're not, because a lot of stuff I notice about 7th house stuff is weighing things out too much. And in Taurus, you don't really want to weigh out what's good because that means it's not the best. Because when you know what's the best, like when I go to buy my fucking Sprite, I don't want Sierra Mist. I want Sprite. I don't weigh out like, well, should I do Sierra Mist today or should I do Sprite? No, it's like, I want fucking Sprite. That's Taurus. So it's like, come on, Scorpio. You know what you want. Don't weigh it out. Don't keep things on a fucking, bridge. Like, what side of the bridge are you going on? Venus is now in your 8th house. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. If you got nobody to hump over the next fucking 3 months of the Venus retrograde, you're going to fucking not be happy. So why don't you start thinking about, like, instead of like blocking your emotions and weighing it out too much, Just make a choice and just start to go, well, let me go see that. At least I know what I'm going to be fucking trying to deal with and getting deeper and understanding with, because that's the whole lesson of Saturn in the fourth. Trust me, when Saturn was in Scorpio in the fourth for me, I blocked my emotions and I was just single in LA for like 2.5 years and I went on dates and man, there were so many emotional blocks. I don't want you guys to have nothing to hump.
Guess we got to figure out this move situation then.
Yeah, you just got to just make choices and just do it and
Do it.
not stay on the fence. The Lovers card popped up. Holy stuff. Oh, man.
Woohoo.
Are you ready for love?
Yahtzee.
Are you ready for love? Are you? Are you ready? Because, you know, love takes two parts and you got to be willing to show up as the other part. Maybe somebody's trying to show up to you or you're trying to show up to somebody and they're not showing up. Then if you're not going to show up, tell that person you ain't going to show up fully. Just cut it off. That's Scorpio. It's black or white. Gray is not your area and you are in a new moon in your opposite sign in the house of gray. So you want love? Can't be in gray. Gotta be black or white. Challenge card is the third house. So your communication. The communication is definitely the issue right now. And the environment and, you know, figuring out the environment. Like, you know what? It needs to be exciting. I think that this is the most amazing time in life right now for love. I'm like, this is like, I mean, like, it's like a fucking, it's like some kind of crazy, like weird scenario, right? It's like a fucking simulation game. Like if you could live a love simulation game and put yourself in a fucking crazy time when we're at like a weird time in the world where you have to make the biggest move of your life energetically to even try a relationship right now. Like this is fucking like exciting and fun to see the crazy parts of who knows? But many people are the opposite. They want to know a sure bet. This is not sure bets. Third house challenge is like, be clear in the communication and also know that you need there's going to be a lot of shifting but maybe your challenge is that, you know, you want to change in your environment or you're unsure of the environment you're going to be in, but maybe you're overthinking it all. Maybe you just need to just focus on whatever the fucking love is and stop getting out of your head. You pulled the Pope as your overall. Well, the Pope knows what it wants spiritually, and it also at the same time is, you know, this is a card that has to deal with wedding too, like marriage and, you know, like officiality. Are you ready to make something official? Maybe it's not like, okay, boyfriend, girlfriend, although it could be. But maybe it's like making official the love that you want to have and just saying, like, I'm going to go into love. I'm going to make this official. I'm going to bless this. You're going to bless this situation instead of living it in your mind. As I just brought up simulators, are you simulating the situation too much? You pulled the water. Oh, you need to get wet. It needs to be dripping. What? And you need to follow the feelings, not the mind. What? Come on, look at this. Lovers, water, Hierophant. You got them all up, right? Wow. Needs to get wet up in here. Splashy. Craig starts singing about a fucking Scorpio party, baby. Should be fucking a Scorpio wet fucking splash party. But if you're going to live in your head, well, and with VR, there's no wetness with that, except the wetness you create in your own pants. King of Cups upright. You need to own this shit because you got something that is so special. Yeah, but you got to own the power of the emotion. You need to be the king of the emotion about the love that you want. You got the ultimate love story here, Scorpio. What's the deal? Why did you pull the Pope? Wheel of Fortune upright. Oh, wait, no, you got it reversed. That's your issue. You're not making anything official because you want to control the wheel. You just don't want to realize that there's no time. Here's the universe, like with the time clock going, like, this is it. This is all you have. And you're like, no, I'll just control the time. It's like, no, I can't. I'm telling you, fucking take it now because the time is fucking running out. So you were denying fortune to make something official, to have the ultimate thing that's also, it's ultimate. It's a lot better than being stripped of nada and having nothing. And it won't be wet. Except for what's ever wet in your own pants. And you might not even get wet about that because you're not going to get anything, you know? Oh, man. Oh man, you got the fourth house here, Neptune and Pisces. Oh, that's actually living like a Sag. You are emotionally all over the place. You are like a fucking boat that's just out in the middle of a fucking ocean, and 1 minute a whale hits it and fucking throws you this way. Next minute you see Wilson from 20 years ago that fucking shows up and even says fuck you, and it runs by and you're like, what the hell's going on in this ocean emotionally? You just need to start to you know what? Instead of being on the surface of emotions where it's crazy, you need to go all the way to the bottom where you're saturated in the emotion. And then you'll see all the spiritual gifts there. And you need to follow your emotional intuition, but not your delusions that you're creating the story of the emotions that you want to deny, but follow the intuitive part. There's a lot of wetness here. There's a lot of splashy. What do you have to say about that,
Keywords
Scorpio?
for Scorpio is wet. What is gonna let that love flow from you? Obviously, you know, from time to time we have troubles expressing ourselves emotionally. Maybe we're holding back a bit. Maybe we are trying to protect ourselves. I guess we'll never really know until we put ourselves out there fully. But are we going to do it? Because that's pretty fucking terrifying. So,
Wheel of Fortune
maybe I'll give
reversed.
it a shot.
You know what? I didn't watch Wheel of Fortune much, but because it was always on before Jeopardy, and I used to watch Jeopardy with my nana and my papa. But it was like I'd always watch Wheel of Fortune, and somebody was like balling it and doing good, and then it was like, okay, they spin, and like, you know, it's not even about it landing on bankruptcy. Is as much as like, okay, it's your time to spin. That means you get to guess a letter, and it's so fucking clear on the fucking thing. It's like, that's definitely two letters. That means it's an on, O-N, or it's an A-N, or it's an in. Like, and then you can just, it's pretty simple. And they'll guess like an F, you know, and it's like, you see the other words, and you know there's no F in there. You're like, are you fucking stupid? Like, gee, I'm like, you just wasted your spin. Are you going to waste your spin?
I'm going to be very calculated and precise.
Well, the last sign, Pisces. Boop. They're wet.
Wet.
Maybe too wet.
Never enough wetness.
Maybe too wet.
Drowning in the wetness.
Maybe they're too wet.
Going swimming in the seas of their own wetness. Okay, Pisces.
All right, Pisces. Well, we are in Taurus now, which is your third house of, guess what? That's the Gemini house, actually. But it's the third house of intellect, and it's about your environment. And it's like, you are going stir crazy, Pisces. Woo! But you're getting shit, you know, you're trying to figure it all out. Communication's everything. It's a communication time. This is also a lot about learning to speak up. So with love, you need to speak up. With love, you need to start to intellectually figure things out. But with the square to Saturn happening in your 12th house, it's like, oh, are you lost in some really weird fucking situation right now? Like, are you kind of like, are you drinking too much? You lost an addiction, and that means that you're not thinking clearly. Is your environment clean, or is your environment toxic right now for love? You want love, but is the environment correct for you? You need to get your environment in order. We also do have Venus, which is, of course, in Gemini, which happens to deal with your emotional house. So you are in a very weird time emotionally where you're trying to, you know, you can feel it. You need to really start to communicate, and you also need to look at your home life and make sure that, you know, this thing is all figured out. Like, do you have the right people around? Is it the right stimulation? Is it, you know, there's a lot here. For Pisces to just kind of figure out, like, are you just drifting away into some weird fucking creepy zone? Like, is this fish tank got a hole in it and like you didn't realize it because you were so like, blah, 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 you're getting sucked down in the wrong direction? So maybe you're, you know, it's toxic love or toxic life not allowing love in. And the people you're around, it's a big one. 7 of Wands in reversed. So it's like, I think that, you know, you don't know what you want to fight for, or you want to fight for something, but, you know, they might not be wanting to fight for you. But I would say that it's more like, you know, you're unsure of who to fight for, or what to fight for, or what to hold the ground for, but also I think that this has to deal with yourself. Like, you need to put yourself on the higher ground for yourself first, but you're not. You're almost like wanting to put it for somebody else, or you're fighting somebody else's battles too much and you're not fighting your own, which no lover wants to. I'll be honest. It's the most unattractive thing in the world when I date a girl and instead of anything about her and her life, it's always about her friend's life and fighting their battles for them. I'm like, I didn't come here to date fucking whoever this person is and their issues in their life. Are you doing that? Wow, your challenge is the Venus love card. So it's definitely going to be a challenging week with love. Maybe you're putting your energy way too many. You're fighting for other people's situations and not your own, and you're not focused on your own love life. I think that the challenge is that you're not focused on your own. You're not like stepping tall into the love life that you want, and you're also making moves and actions that you're holding on. You're putting yourself on the mountain of things that are the most opposite that would even make your love life work out. Your overall card is the Four of Wands. So overall, it's like we need to find something to celebrate for. And plan to celebrate for. So this is a good card, especially, you know, some people look at this as the marriage card or celebration, or, you know, but again, you need to have something to celebrate for. And there's nothing worse than going to a celebration all in a toxic space or fucked up. So, how do you get there? Well, you need to focus on your own happiness and love life. And even though it's challenging, you gotta be willing to make the changes and make sure, like, where have you put all your sure footing on a space in your life that's counteractive to that relationship, love life. You pulled the courage card. So you need to have courage in order to change. And look at it, it's got the lightning bolt. You've got to make a wild, unpredictable shift here in order to get the love life that you want. You definitely need to have the courage, though, to step forward and let it be known, too. There's something about saying, letting known the love that you want to have love. You can't half-ass this. I know you're a Pisces and you're sensitive, but it is Taurus time. It is communication time. The reason why you pulled that Seven of Wands reverse, that you're putting your footing in the wrong places, is you've got the Chariot in reverse. You know, it's like you're still not moving forward into a new direction. It's like you keep going backwards. There's something about going backwards and not wanting to move forward into the right place to make your love life the right place. It's like you're going farther away from the love life you want, or you still are staying and you're not moving the coach towards the direction that you want to. You did get the Four of Wands in reverse on the Four of Wands upright. So, it's either a celebration or just nothing to celebrate based off the courage about you changing your life and moving forward into putting your footing in the right place with the right people and not being in toxic situations and toxic places with toxic people. Or you are going to be very depressed because you think a celebration's coming when it's not, because it's fucked up because you didn't make any changes. You know, usually this is like, are you just kind of, I don't know why I'm feeling this, but it's almost like you're creating a narrative or a story in your head that is not actually going to happen because of the actions you're taking and where you're putting the actions. So you're aiming for this really cool moment, but nobody knows. You might not be communicating about it. And you also aren't even aware of what you're doing to fuck that up. I know it might sound crazy, but it's just like Pisces are just kind of like in a Saturn in the 7th, Virgo. Well, it's time for you to make some choices in your relationship life based on the reality you're living in your day-to-day life and how it looks and if it's healthy or not. Because if it's not healthy, if it's not working right, well, guess what? It ain't going to show up. You got to take authority over your reality to get the relationship life that you want. Well, that was all 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that's it. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, that was a fun journey. Make sure that you go to highvibe.tv if you want to join us Friday for the live stream, where I'm going to be definitely full out, decked out stage. And the most deepest information ever of what's next here in 2020. You can watch the trailer for free by going to highvibe.tv. And to get this show, go to highvibe.tv, which you can watch on the apps by purchasing, but watch the 34-minute trailer of all the predictions I made to show you that what I'm about to give you prediction-wise, I haven't made predictions specifically about what's next from getting here. I told you about the plague. I told you about all these things for so long. Now you want to know what's next? Let's do it. I spent years doing it, and I gave all the fucking warnings. This is going to be my new warnings. But they're not really warnings. They're just wake-up calls. They're keys to unlocking. Also, my Love Masterclass, Wednesday nights. This Wednesday night and next Wednesday night are the last two Masterclass classes for my Love class. If you want, and you don't have to be part of the lives. These are cool because you can just watch the recordings and you learn about how to master your love story and the love story of somebody else. It's amazing. We've had 8 weeks already. We gave 2 more. It's at almost, I don't even know, 8 classes times like 4 hours is most of the classes. I think 3 hours is one. So that's almost 30 hours. It's like 30 plus hours of content already. Check it out. This is not your CoStar app bullshit. This is like I am teaching you with no astrology knowledge, or if you even have some, to finally being able to go, I want to date this person. Let me look at their stuff. I know my love story and I instantly know. And this is not just traditional astrology. These are all my secrets, the super secrets that I've got. Make sure that you get it now at theleoking.com or highvibe.tv. Just purchase it once and then you watch it at our school, which is on highvibetvschool.com. Boom! Anything? Last words, Craigie?
You know, I'd say through all this, just be yourself. Be true to yourself, always. And show, nod it off. But no, well, show the love that you want to receive. You know, be that person that you want to be in the relationship, in that healthy partnerships going forward, and you're gonna have that. Also, you know, again, these paintings behind me, you can learn to paint them. Available on High Vibe TV on the apps for free. Just check out. There's an Art to Life. Also, all the artwork that you see is by Kim Tabe. She's got a bunch of stuff up on there. She has some one-off prints. I know that she's doing actually, so you can get the image that's behind David right there. High def images, one-offs are going to be available also on kimtabay.com. KIMTABAY.com. She also does jewelry and stuff. This is the necklace that I was wearing, but you couldn't really see it. But she does necklaces with her artwork inside of it. So it's real cool. KimTabe.com. You can hit her up on Instagram, Kim Tabe or Kim Tabe Art.
Boom, baby! highvibe.tv. Tomorrow is Deep Astrology. So if you're not a member, then of course you can only watch the recording on YouTube and you don't get to watch the charts. But you do if you're on High Vibe, and you can be part of the live. And Wednesday at about 1 or 2 p.m. Pacific, to me 1 p.m. Pacific, spiritual dance music for the fucking new moon, and then the Love Masterclass Wednesday, and then Full Disclosure Wednesday night, and then Friday, 2020, what's next? The live show. I've been looking really forward to this. A lot of work's been going in. Finding some really old history stuff to show you all of the repetitive stuff that's pretty crazy. So you're not going to want to miss it. Love you guys. Love you, Craig.
Love you, love it. Here's the remainder of that trailer of what's...
Oh, there's a remainder. And please share this video. We would love the support by sharing the video out all the time. Thank you all. Because if you buy into the fear... you're going to realize that the choices you're starting to make without doing the full research, without actually being there, and this is going to bring up like a lot of untrustworthy energy around people. Like who to trust, what to trust. I mean, Orwellian, George Orwell, the Orwellian 1984 understanding is happening. And this is going to be a time for us to really realize that this new energy is something we've never been into. Are we really going to create our own prison of our reality? Or is this the precursor to imprisoning humanity and through fear? And creating and becoming our own police guards of ourselves in a really weird way, and also shifting our governments into a way that forget about freedom. There's something about these masters that want to see what happens when they give people the keys to the chaotic situation. That it's building up to such a chaotic situation on purpose to see how people do for the first time and actually take off the controls a little bit and go out there
and see if we'll either act like kids with machine guns or
correct. And Matrix 4 just got renewed this week.
Oh boy.
And there's no coincidence about that.
No.
And that's going to be the ultimate test of the age of Aquarius. Not to where we all wear white shirts and we all pray the same day at the same time, at the same energy. There's been so much age of Pisces conditioning in our psyche to pray at the same time. Lots of religions have it, right? Like some people pray at the sundown, and it's all conditioning to be the same. Age of Aquarius is unique to where it's like, yeah, I'm going to do it my way or this way. And that doesn't mean I can't fit in. That means I can still fit in. And that's what makes me great, is I do it my own weird way and being accepting of that own weird way. And that's my main concern through the next 5 years, is watching through so much Capricorn, through so much conditioning that's going to happen and so much control, that people are going to give in to trends and live in those trends. And there won't be enough trendsetters around left, because then anybody who's trend setting is not cool. We're actually seeing it in extreme left and extreme right in politics. If you're a Brexit person, you're demonized. If you're a Bernie Sanders, very left socialistic person, you're demonized. Let's try and find perfect establishment in the middle.
North Node is on Sirius now, and it's serious. Like, align. Straight up, align. If it's not aligned, fucking out. Like, Uranus is just like, in Taurus, not a very nice Uranus in Taurus, right? Uranus in Taurus is not nice. It was not nice in the 1930s. It was not. Because everybody that wanted to eat the fruit did well, and everybody who didn't got shoved to the side. Think about that one. So, I might sound like I'm the Antichrist or the devil, but the Antichrist and the devil is going to not be real and go totally as polished and perfect and anything that feels that way, run the fuck away. Because this is a serious situation now in life. This is no joke, and you all feel it out there. Will be the ultimate of you, whether you're going to go backwards and fall into the deepest trap of your whole life because of the fears, the media fears, the fears subliminally from the collective, from other lobsters who don't want you to climb out of the fucking reality that does not make sense in your life anymore. That's how serious this shit is. So this is going to be the last eclipse of the old paradigm rewards. But there's something to say that maybe some of those on the light path work. Maybe they needed the old paradigm's reward system in order to move their agendas forward. And some of the dark are going to get theirs to move theirs forward for the ultimate battle of light and dark that's coming. Okay? I mean, we are moving into an age and into a time in the 2020s where we are going to see the battles and the debates, whether, artificial intelligence and how that's going to look. I mean, self-driving cars, and what will it feel like to not have the control of driving your own car anymore? What would it feel like to lose the control of which job you can choose? What would it be like to lose the control of who you can pick as a mate, whether that's genetic or because they're going to genetically test you and that you don't make a good match that way. There's going to be a lot of things that, you're going to set up the downfall or the rise of this world. And you are the conduit of that.
This is also why people are afraid of AI, is because all this Aquarius is coming in soon, this decade. This decade will be about Aquarius.
and Pisces. And when you get into that realm, it's the last two signs of the zodiac, which means we are dealing with the most outer realms of the unknown. And the fear right now with Saturn and Pluto and Capricorn, again, is control. So it's like, oh my God, I have no control if AI will come and kill us. Like, like, what the hell? Like, I didn't sign up for this shit. I didn't sign up for that. Well, what if I were to tell you that AI is the last thing that you should even be nervous about? The first thing you should be nervous about is if you are not going to make the biggest choice of your life right now. Ironically enough, here even on this New Year's Eve and coming into this week, the first week of 2020 is no joke. The first 12 days are extreme. I'm going to say about this moment in your life where it's like, with Pluto, that's the drill. And if you've ever had a root canal, I've had one in my life. Holy shit, will that wake you the motherfucking up? Because it's actually going into your nerves. And right now, the nerves are so intense with time and destiny and a fated knowing that you must go somewhere in your life on a quest and a journey that's beyond where you've ever even been before, and know that you have to have a massive amount of strength, determination, and will to get there, because that's what Pluto is, Scorpio. So you're mixing Scorpio with Capricorn, basically. You're mixing a businessman with an investor in destiny right now. And then you add Jupiter, the guru, the one that's a little over-optimistic, not a bad thing, but the one that brings giant storms to this whole mix. So not only is it a storm in your life to expand the biggest planet, right? All gas, it's the heaviest planet too. It's a heavy expanding moment in Capricorn. And Capricorn is not where Jupiter likes to be because it's very Saturnian. Like, no, your teeth are not okay. I know you keep telling yourself that you go to, Whole Foods and buy coconut oil and keep saying that's going to fix your teeth. And then you use Tom's, unfluoride, toothpaste so much because you think your third eye's being fucked up. And I'm sorry to tell you, Jupiter, you need to get a root canal right now. And this is where spiritual beliefs too are getting a little bit of let's get back to some reality. And I'm not one here to say a religion's wrong or religion's right, but it's about how people project their belief systems onto others and feeling of this end-all be-all fatalistic knowing that if you don't do this, you'll end up there. Where there's something different about being an astrologer and giving this information out is that I'm giving you the information whether you want to take it or not. There's no judgment from an astrologer. It's just, as an astrologer, we are using data and history, and we are using predetermined planetary positions and understanding lots and lots of historical data of understanding, well, what happens when this happens in history? How many years? What are the other cycles? And one thing that's beautiful about the planets is it literally takes tens of thousands of years for them all to be in the same spot, at all. So you're never seeing the same scenario. It's a chessboard with a completely different set of pieces in different places, and certain pieces out and certain pieces in. So, this is something where being non-judgmental of people, their beliefs, their ways of life, and watching as the world is shifting to not create stigma, which actually is what is going to create more of censorship. And also for yourself to find the empowerment in yourself to know what feels right to you and to not go into anything that makes you feel that you're going to be somewhat subjected to, a way of life to where you have to be a certain way, you have to live a certain way, you have to, follow this order of life. Because I think that there's going to be the deepest illusionary fear that something is here, something that we have to deal with, that if we don't deal with this, we're done. And I think that when you start to get into that, there's a manic element to it, like a hypomanic belief system that's going to explode onto people. And it's going to be transferred through, a fear aspect. And I think that it's very important for people to be prepared for this fear. I mean, we saw a lot of this fear after 9/11 and how intense it was. And that was with the eclipses in these spots. And this is even way more intense. So I'm not predicting a 9/11, but I'm predicting the energy of like this fear of safety and how this is going to be done and all that stuff. And then, you know, it's funny, and when you look in politics today and how, you know, politicians try to say, no, I didn't vote for that war. You know, they want nothing to do with what was taking place. But at that time, if you did not take that course of action, you were looked at as like, you know, a non-patriot, or that you didn't care about New York City or America or anything like that. So this is really going to be a testy time. The other thing, of course, to prepare for is that people are going to be civilly unrested as far as when it comes to divisive beliefs, but also in, you know, spiritual ideology to science and to what is factual. And there's going to be so many debates. Like, it's almost like a civil war happening within, you know, every corner of our consciousness in our human way. And we have to remember that we're human at this, you know, end of the day. And so that's why the relationships we choose are so important, because one thing that's very scary about Neptune is it's about to head exactly to the position it was in 2020, where it was in 1692 during the witch trials. So it's like we're getting all being put under witch trials. And I think that the one thing to not be afraid of, but you have to also, as an astrologer, present this to people of what could be there. And I'm not trying to use this as a fear-mongering thing, but I'm trying to help people understand that you don't have to go through this, is slavery, the slavery of your soul. The slavery of your soul to whether that is like corporate slave camps and work, to slavery under an ideology or a belief system that you must follow, that we have to keep the wide open array of information from all people. And that's one thing that freedom and liberty represents extremely. I'm sending you my best energy as you prepare, as you come into this next decade, as you come into this major time. And I want to remind you to take action as fast as you can in better alignments, and to cut things that are not in alignment with you, to make things easier, to make things flow. Understanding boundaries is important, but understanding a path with boundaries and knowing, don't go off into a crazy radical world that you're without anything. Keep yourself open. Keep yourself open to possibilities with things that are beautiful and that are showing you offerings. There are rewards for those that do, and there are no rewards when you close off and you're the one that you believe that you're in the full control of this. I appreciate you all so much. I appreciate you being part of High Vibe. I appreciate all the support, especially as you'll see other videos from me, but just I want to say thank you, especially in this last decade, for following me. And I hope to see you follow more of myself and all the team at High Vibe and wherever life goes coming into this new decade.